I'm worried. I really, really am worried. We've regressed, man. I can't lie to you. What is the point of McTominay? Just don't do anything.
You still going on about that? It was 5 years ago.
What is wrong with you? McTominay, bloody hell, mate, how's he performed? How Brighton were bopping it like prime Barcelona. The new Man United is mediocre. The new Man United is banter. Shambles, Salah. That second half was an absolute disgrace, by the way. That is embarrassing for Ten Hag, mate. Insanity. Do you not know what insanity is?
First half, all at sea. And Brighton are allowed to bop it around. They defended today. Are you lot all right in the head? We're playing no better than we played under Ollie. I have to be open with better players as well. Come on, man.
He's lost the fight. That's the emotional side's gone. He's fed up. I think I'll score Thuggery though, the top boy.
Why is that nerd getting away with it though? But why is it? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm fuming, man. Why is my brother getting beat up? Like, look at him.
Chelsea are Chelsea now, innit? I mean, we're very much
I'm
used to this.
words, man. Let me message him, man. What's going on here, man? Has there been some more cheating going on from Chelsea? Have Todd Bowley been on the? Is Matt on the payroll?
I thoroughly enjoyed that. So they kind of bust case a little bit compared to Saeed. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought that was a good intro. I don't know what you're complaining about. That took hours of work, GRIZZ. I wouldn't text anyone. That was brilliant. Saeed, what's going on over there?
I'm chilling, man. I'm just, I'm just here, innit?
You still think you're on holiday? You're back in the UK, you know?
No, I can't lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm going on holiday again. I've just got my bag here ready. I've got a flight 6 a.m. So any United fan, this is what you do basically. My club is in turmoil, so I need some more sun. I need some more time away from the football club. So yeah, literally, I'm not lying to you. I'm flying 6 a.m. tomorrow to Parma, and you'll see me tomorrow there. So that's all I'm letting you know. And yeah, man, what can be said, man? Innit? I'm just. Long season. What did GRIZZ used to say back in last year? Long season. That's my new word this season. Long season, guys. That's all I can say.
But can I ask? Can we get like a look? And I'm not even trolling. I'm not gassing. I'm serious because like it's wedding season's just finished, yeah. But is that a top? Is that a blazer? Is that a shirt?
No, it's a shirt. It's a shirt, man. It's a nice little,
Can we get one of those Saeed poses? Can we get one of those Saeed ones?
Get ready with me, Saeed.
Yo.
Bro,
listen, we can do that. That might be my new content. I might be an influencer, man. You know what I'm saying? That might be football content ain't for me anymore. I can't lie, but that might be my new thing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. I'm saying, but right now I'm just wearing a shirt. You know what I mean? Airport attire. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, like United, man. Come on, man. I don't need that stress.
You seriously going on holiday?
No, he actually is. Remember, he said he wanted to bring the show forward.
They're so shit. He can't bear to be in the same country as them. He doesn't want to be near Old Trafford.
He's not joking.
I'm going to Parma or Palma.
I'm not joking.
He's not joking. He said to bring the show to 9 p.m. Because remember when the schedule was down as 10, and he said, "Yo, bring it to 9 p.m." Fuck Nottingham Forest and Burnley.
But guys, call me.
My flight is at 6:05. 6:05.
But guys, the rest of you brothers, please help me.
See that?
Can someone tell me where he's going? Because I know he said it in the group WhatsApp, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how.
There it is.
Better question. Is he coming back?
6:05, Manchester Airport.
What are you doing in Mallorca?
We're going to Parma. You know what? Spain's quite nice, I like Spain. Got a beach there. You know what I mean? It's quite. Honestly, the food's quite nice. You get a bit of, what the Spanish dishes, a bit of tapas and that. It's nice. It's genuinely nice, And yeah, man, fresh air. Probably the hottest place this time of the year. You know what I mean?
When did you book that?
I think I booked that. I think it was
at full time.
Yeah, but the full time.
Last night. Booked it last night.
How mad it is that Man United, they're back in the Champions League, their first game this week, and he wants nothing to do with it. He's off to Spain. That's so mad.
Hugh, he just got back. He just got back.
He's just back from holiday. How many holidays do you need, man?
What do, man?
It's hard to work. We need to hear you.
We're in the mud.
There's only so many holidays you can go on.
We've made a new pact. Matisse, are you ready to raise your arms, your hand there, please?
No, wait. It depends on what you're going to say because we agreed upon this. And you're going to...
Okay, the Mud Brothers. The Mud Brothers.
No, that was not the agreement. That was not the agreement. We are the £1 billion brothers. We need to...
No, with the Mud Brothers, man. With the Mud... No, sorry, man. No, listen. That in context, you spend $1 billion a year. We spend over 10 years, so that won't really work with us. Chill out there. You know what I'm saying? You want to spend more money. But we are the Mud Brothers. You know, so you can see we're having more emergency meetings than wins. You know what I mean? More crisis meetings than wins, more statements than wins. So it's not good right now. And I can't show my eyes. Yeah. Behind these glasses is it's pain. So I can't show you what I'm really feeling right now. So, it's Michael Jackson settings right now. You know what I mean? So end of the day, you know what I mean? We can't show face. That's all.
Do you know what we're doing right now? We're doing injured combined 11s. That's what
I'd calm down with Michael Jackson settings as well, my guy.
Oh yeah. Pause.
Find some new settings.
That was a bad one still. Yeah. Pause that one. Big pause. Yo, shout out to Turkish though, man. That's a real brother right there. Yeah, big pause on that one. But yeah, we got combined 11s, man. Combined injured 11s going on. You know what I'm saying to you? And yeah, man.
Shut up.
It's
Shut up. Shut up with injuries.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'll take that from Turkish. I'll take that from HUGH. I'll even take it from FUAD. But I won't take it from the Grizzly Bear with the violins.
Oh, you're going to take it?
I'm not going to take it.
Still the violins.
Me and Saeed actually have 11, 12, 13 injuries in our squad. When you have 4, you're talking about it. When you have 5,
2 years
you're
ago,
talking about it. So if there's someone who ain't going to talk on this panel about injuries, it's you, brother.
2 years ago,
you are going to listen to our woes. You're going to listen to our problems. You're going to hear it. And you're going to get the violins out in the chat in honor of GRIZZ, and you're going to hold that. No. I'm going to run that today. You're going to
these violins are for you. Don't get twisted. Don't get twisted. These violins are for you.
I'm learning from the king.
These violins are for you because 2 years.
The violin king.
Yo, me and Saeed might even sing today. We might even have a little sing song.
No,
you're good at that.
It's a family show. Family show. Allowed to sing. But when 2 years ago I spoke about injuries, violins were violated in the chat. Please let me hear violins for Chelsea's billions and Man United's billions. Injuries, get out of here. Get the hell out of here, man. Because I ain't listening to your injury list. And people, I want to hit. Wait, the funniest thing was, right? Chelsea fans put up an injury list, and I'm not joking. None of them have got any pedigree. Who the fuck are they putting on? What do you mean? You might as well name every player in the national league. Who the fuck are these man?
Let's not be
James and Casado up aside.
Saeed, I got this.
Who are these people?
Hey, you get this one.
Let's not do that.
Who are you? Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean with these lists?
Let's not do that.
You might as well just name any player registered. Any player registered in the league? Yeah, he's in for Chelsea. Any player on loan in Vickers Arnhem? Yeah, he's named for Chelsea. Any player that played for Huddersfield Reserve last season? Yeah, he's injured for Chelsea. What the?
Your Honour, can I speak? Your Honour? Brighton just rocked up to Old Trafford. Go through their 11, right? There's loads of nobodies in there, right? Don't disrespect the nobodies. You signed the nobodies.
I'm disrespecting your nobodies.
Hold on a second. You signed nobodies all the time and scouted, right? Liverpool scouted the nobodies and brought them into somebodies. So don't disrespect the nobodies because your club is built on nobodies. So don't do that, right? Let's not do that. Let's respect the nobodies because the nobodies need to be available so we can see if the 1 billion was spent correctly. Right now, we're playing with like 500 million. It's difficult right now. So let's not do that. Don't do that, man.
I ain't saying nothing, man. If you don't think that billion, that player's bench that you keep referring to, the injury list, is of any relevance whatsoever, take away Reece James, take away Caicedo.
Nkuku, Lavia, the players that you were chasing.
Lavia, fair enough, no problem. But again, potential.
Nkuku, you don't rate Badiashile? You don't rate Badiashile?
No, but what I'm saying is,
it's quite a few players, isn't it? It's quite a few players here.
Shall I name you the players that I'm mentioning for Liverpool on the weekend? Shall I? Do you want me to? And I'm talking thoroughbreds. I'm talking thoroughbreds. I'm talking Champions League winners, Premier League winners, FA Cup winners, Super Cup winners. That's
So
what you call
if you
players.
had lost
Listen,
to Wolves,
not
if you
Chukwuemeka and I know Britney Spears. I don't want some of the names. I don't even know what the names.
if you had
random names. Random names.
Washington. If
Washington,
listen, my brother.
Listen,
Listen, brother. If Akuna Matata had put his chances away in the first half from Neto's chances created, you would have been 2-3-0 down. And then your injuries, you would have been talking about it today. But luckily, you got life. And then you were bringing on players off the bench. You weren't bringing on Denzel Washington, as FUAD likes to call him on the newly formed podcast last night. You weren't bringing on Stutter. You know what I'm saying? You weren't looking at your bench. You weren't looking at that bench. You were looking at 100+ million worth of attackers, Mr. Unbroke, yeah? And you were bringing them on to change the game and win the game after a terrible first half. So don't talk to me about, we don't need players available, because when you got injuries, you're talking. And now you got a couple of players out, but you've got an elite bench of Nunes and Diaz to call upon, changing the game.
Life's good now. Life's good now.
Crazy. It's the hypocrisy for me.
It's not the hypocrisy. I'm constant and I'm constant and I make sense. I tell you why. Because now you're praising our squad depth. Now you're talking about the Liverpool bench, the Liverpool squad. Either we don't spend and you was cussing our ownership and you guys are dead, Klopp's not getting backed, you don't need to think about it, or we know what we're doing and suddenly we've ended up with a good. Which one is it? You're not confusing me with the criticism of Liverpool. Now you're suddenly saying, yeah, your bench looks tough. Yeah, you're bringing on 100 million.
I said your attacking options. You know your defense is still. You wanted a centre back in a DM, right? Or were you happy with Endo? Are you happy with Matip and you choose? Because in pre-season you was cussing out Matip. I don't think you wanted Quenza at centre back.
We digress.
You choose about your depth too, not just me. You too.
We will talk.
We will.
Anyway, back to Mr. Bermuda Triangle.
He's looking to go missing.
Right, okay. What should we do? Should we get through the super chat? Should we, what's the situation right now? Tell me the situation. Because we don't get through all of them, so don't get them in. But no, listen, let me take them off because it's, we can't be having it all day on. You know what I'm saying? We have to get serious now. We're in a bit of a crisis at the minute. We're not playing well. Brighton popped us off the park. We could argue have lost every game this season, and that wouldn't be a crazy thing to say that. And yeah, man, it's very, very tough at the minute. You know what I mean? I'm sat, with Chelsea, and I don't know where we are now. Could you remind us? Are we 12th, 13th, Matisse? Somewhere down there anyway. I'm looking at other scores right now. It's crazy right now. But listen, everything's not going right at Man United at the minute. We're not scoring enough goals. We're leaking a lot of goals. And yeah, man, Brighton taught us a footballing lesson second half. I think what they did was they gave us a little bit of hope in that first 20 minutes here. And then we looked like we're going somewhere. And then Zerbi said, you know what? F these lot, yeah. Let's just turn the screw up. And that's what they did. And they just destroyed us, man. It could have been more. And yeah, I can't lie to you. I am worried about the season. I think Ten Hag, I questioned Ten Hag this season. And you rightly heard me on here. And I said, I want to see a better style of football. I want to see us catch the likes of Man City and Arsenal, them kind of guys at the top. And I want to see us improve. But I'll be really honest with you. I think we've digressed. I think we are regressing. I think we're getting worse. And that is not good going into your second season at Manchester United Football Club. It's not good. So many players are not performing. Whether that's due to the system, that's a lack of form, is another question. But yeah, man, it's very, very peak at the minute with United. I don't know when the next win is. Matisse comes out here and says 7 wins out. Listen, man, just give me the next 3 points, mate. I ain't looking too far, mate. I'm looking at Burnley on Saturday, and I'm even finding out they're winning right now. So that's not good. Because that means they'll be up.
You got Bayern
disallowed,
Munich,
yeah.
Right? You got Bayern Munich next.
Yeah. But Bayern Munich, Champions League, different feeling. You know what I'm saying? But that's not over in one day. You got time to get out the group. But you know what, man? It's not looking good, man. I'll be real with you. Normally I can gloat here and I can just give you fake positivity, but I'm not. I can give you shameless serious. That's when you know something's going on. You know what I'm saying to you? When I'm serious and I'm worried, that means there ain't no jokes. There ain't no jokes loaded anywhere. There ain't no kind of shamelessness anywhere. It's serious, Saeed.
Do you not feel like it's like last year though? Like last year when you started the first 4 or 5 games poorly, but then as you saw throughout the maybe first half of the season, you actually started to get some rhythm. You started to get some pattern. Once you got that Brighton defeat at home last year, if anything, that's when you went on that 1 year home run. Is it maybe too early? Where I just feel like every United fan is almost alarm bells are ringing at this point and fingers are pointing at Ten Hag. Is it you've got to have some patience? Because as much as you can give 100%. Ten Hag the keys, you used Liverpool and Arsenal as examples who are catching up to City, but what they've got is director of footballs in places like, I use the example of Klopp when he wanted Götze and guys like that, but instead they gave him Sadio Mane and Salah, and those are the guys who went on to win the title. You look at Arsenal, Edu. Arsenal fans can't stop posting barbecue pictures every single week. So it's like, but instead Ten Hag, he's gone and said, all right, I want Mount, I want Anthony. And these guys right now, they're fitting into a system that doesn't really look like it, but you don't have that director of football in place in the summer to kind of point the finger, point them to the right players.
No, he's doing everything on his own. Don't get me wrong. And that, for me, I don't like that. I like to have a like what Man City are doing and what Arsenal are doing now. A kind of a situation where, it's one, you're doing it all together. I think with the manager now, I feel like for me, I am patient. I'm not saying sack him now. There's a lot of fans that are saying sack him. I think it's too reactionary. Sometimes you need to allow a manager to struggle. I don't think in football nowadays, managers have time to struggle and find their way and, kind of rectify what they've done wrong. I think too many people want everything too soon. But where I think there has to be a lot of scrutiny is this is his second season now. And I'm not going to lie to you. Last season, the style of play was a bit iffy. It was at home. It was, we got a few big games at home, but it weren't consistent enough. And this season, I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I'm not even seeing the transition football. Like, we're talking about transition football. I'm not seeing that, bro. And that's where it's kind of, I'm like, okay, if we're not doing that against Brighton, what are we doing? And we just basically allowed Brighton and Pascal Gross, who I think is top player, by the way, just to basically just destroy us. You see the third goal, we were just walking around. We're not even pressing now. We're not doing the basics. And now we're conceding goals.
Do you know what the worst part for Ten Hag is? The worst part, and for Man United fans, it's highlighted the mostest when you play Brighton. And the reason for that is the Zerbi. So you're looking at a manager who, I don't know the exact timelines, but pretty similar, I'd say. Someone help me out if it's way different. Yeah. But I'm assuming it's pretty similar, right? And then he came out with the comment afterwards, like, Brighton have spent money, we've spent money. Hold on, buddy. Hold on, buddy. They've got players like Mohamed Dahoud, Billy Gilmore came on. The replacement, they've lost Caicedo, McAllister, Cucurella in recent times. He's functioning with players like Danny Welbeck. Yeah, he's brought through the likes of Ferguson, right? The coaching levels, the levels of coaching, the levels of footballing identity is day and night, pretty much over the same landscape of time scale, I should say, sorry. And that's what hurts Man United, the real Man United fans that are not fuming for the sake of fuming, but are fuming like, we backed you, Ten Hag. We believed in your process. We believed in your judgment of players because we've all said that these are Ten Hag's players, right? Malacia, Casemiro, Anthony, to name a few. We're trusting you. We want to see an identity. 12, 13 months or however long it's been. Do we see any identity with this Man United team apart from just being shit, basically?
No, I think that's the damning thing, man. I think what it is, when you kind of look at every other team, you can see not Chelsea, but you can see Arsenal, you can see Liverpool, you can see Tottenham even at the minute, you can see Man City, you can see everyone else, you know what the team they are. Man United is, you don't know, man. Like, I knew what Brighton were on. I knew what they were going to do. They had the three at the back. They switched it over to Pascal Gross. Then the wing backs push forward. You knew what they were doing. With Man United is, I've given that first year a big slide. I'm not going to lie to you. I should have said a lot of things last year, but you know what? Third and a trophy is respectable. Not the greatest, but respectable. But now you need to see more of that. And when I see Brighton with that team that they put out, it cost 20 million. I'm sorry, I need to see something from you. And we've seen it for 20 minutes. and that was it. And then once Brighton clocked onto what we're doing, they said, "Yeah, see you later. Let's do this, then, innit? Let's show what you're about." And I think for me, yeah, I will back Ten Hag, but when he has certain favourites as well, because for me, Rashford should not have been on the pitch, but he kept him on. He brought on, for me, Garnacho on too late with 6 minutes to go. So even his substitutions where he was doing well last season, he's now doing it wrong. And I'm just like, bro, you can't be stubborn. And these Ajax fans warned me. And I was like, get out of here, man. That's Ajax, innit, man? Yeah, man, allow me, innit? Like, this is United, man. He go and change it here. And he's doing the same things. He doesn't really have a plan B. And that's the concerning thing for me, man. So I think for me, we'll need to get to maybe around November, and then I would really get concerned. Right now, it's 5 games in, not too reactionary, but at the same time, now, bro, let's stop all of this. You know what I mean? Let's get to work now. Let's get to work and let's see what this Man United team do now the next season. Because I'm not seeing Ange play better football than us. He's coming to what job? 6-7 weeks? Come on, man. I didn't see better from you, bro.
It does feel like it's coming. This whole Ten Hag out. It does feel like that. It feels
Not
like
really.
there's no. It does, bro. It feels like there's no turning the ship around. And I'm not just saying from fans. I'm saying even in press conferences that the Sancho thing we've all discussed. And when you see Sancho in New York and he's living his life, GRIZZ, you was right the last 2 shots. But the Brighton question in this press conference, well, I haven't seen it the clip myself, but the quote when he says Brighton have spent money. That's true, yeah? He said that.
Yeah, he said basically,
he's
and the
rattled.
reporter said no.
He's rattled.
Yeah, he is rattled. Yeah.
But do you know,
back post matches, he's rattled.
Do you know, Matisse? But the thing is, guys, right? I don't think they'll sack him. I don't think they got much choice to persevere with him. My biggest fear, if I was a Man United fan right now, yeah, God strike me down if that was the case. But if I was a Man United fan, right, what would worry me is if the ownership and the management carry on undermining this coach. Because you have to either back a coach to the hill or don't believe in him. If they're trying to make him bow down to what's his name? Sancho, and peace talks and keep undermining him like, no, look, let's make it work with and then Rashford's making dissenting moves and Maguire's situation. If they undermine him, if this guy's worth any salt, like if this guy's worth his salt, he seriously considers walking away from this shithole because he's got his whole managerial career to think about. Because it's a now, Saeed, I told you a few weeks ago, it's a toxic scenario that you're developing with this player power thing throughout the squad. And you was like, nah, players are allowed to respond. Players are allowed to do the shit. Well, this is what happens then. It undermines the coach. So it's either coach full power like Arteta has, like Pep has, like Klopp has, yeah, or it's a situation where very similar to Potter at Chelsea, it's undermining, and very similar at Ten Hag, it's undermining.
Yeah, but that's the issue. That's the issue with comparing. I feel like Ten Hag's coaching situation with De Zerbi's, with Ange's, is I feel like those clubs were ready to hand those managers the keys. When you're managing a club like United or even Arsenal, when Unai Emery came after Wenger, it's not the same, bro. Even Arteta, it took him how many years, and how many fans didn't believe in him when his system, yeah, you could see shades of it, but you couldn't really figure out what he was trying to do exactly because he didn't have his guys. Yeah, I feel like Ten Hag's got more of his guys in place, but I also feel like structurally the club is still not set up right. And I still think last year it felt like every United fan was on board and saying, give Ten Hag the keys, no matter what. Players that don't want to be on board, they got to go. Why is the tune changing now after 4 or 5 games? For me, you're going to have rough periods. You're going to have teething periods. And I think the biggest thing, Saeed, you said is you have to judge them on a style of play. You have to start seeing certain principles where you're like, okay, this is what we're trying to do. So when he says, all right, we're trying to be a transition team. All right, can we see something then? Rashford, can we see a little bit more? Bruno, can we see that final ball quicker? Like, those are certain things you have to question him for tactically, I think. But for me, I think right now you're in a tough situation, but you'd be foolish to get rid of Ten Hag this season, in my opinion. Then once again, you're looking at the same group of players that for the past 4 or 5 years, the likes of Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Rashford, Bruno, how many managers have been here? It's the same names we're constantly talking about. And a new manager's going to come in and you lot are going to be talking about, yeah, the culture needs to change and he needs to get his guys in. It's nah, brother. You had
toxic
one
for anyone, man.
Yes, bro. So for me, it's a case of you have to give him the keys, but I 100% feel like, if anything, the director of football has to be something you lot address. Something above him where the signings, you give him some advice. Because
what was Ten Hag? What was Ten Hag's part in the Ralph Ragnick thing, though? He has an ego.
But this
himself,
one we'll never know. They had a phone call. And we'll never know in it. I know that was for me situations where I think he should have kept him. But the problem is, though, he had an idea, and he's a stubborn guy, man. So when he has an idea and he thinks I can do it,
he had an idea.
Ten Hag. Yeah, he had an, of course, and he thought to himself, you know what, I don't really need your advice, mate. So please jog on. And that naivety for me in a club where United, where there's so many things that out of your control, so many situations where you may not be able to handle it all yourself, that you need a guy like that who has got the experience and has got the ideas of where you've seen it with Leipzig, you've seen it with the model of the whole Red Bull model. This is a guy that was scouting Enzo Fernandez. Alvarez went to Man City.
Yeah, but you got him from a club like Ajax, and you look at the structure of Ajax, and Ajax is based on a footballing director who's an ex-legend of the club. Yeah, exactly. He comes to Man United, and it's a shambles. Now you have to decide. The owners have to decide whether you're gonna Again, it's not a cuss, but it's facts. You're getting a manager who's used to a certain system and a certain structure, and he operates within those boundaries, and he knows his role. You're bringing him and you're confusing his role. You're giving him leeway in certain issues, like the Cristiano Ronaldo, and then you're not giving him certain leeway in certain situations. I don't think he knows his role. Now that sounds so basic, but trying to deep what I'm saying, he doesn't know his role. He doesn't know how in charge he is. And that's not a nice position for a coach to be.
Yeah, but also
when you say you don't know how in charge he is, what do you mean by that? I mean, when you look at the situation, he's been given the resources that he should realistically need to be able to build his own team. He's been given his own players. So the big question mark here is, why hasn't he stamped a style of football 13, 14 months into his tenure at Manchester United? You think by now you know what kind of football he's playing. He's been given his Martinez, he's been given his Mason Mount, he's been given his Anthony. So what is the issue? The director of football? What's that?
No, but you know what it is though.
Along the step of every step of the way as well. Every step of the way where there has been a conflict, he has won so far. There's been a Ronaldo.
No, there's been a couple where he wanted. Yeah. There's been a couple where I think he wanted a centre back. He wanted to get rid of Maguire, but the wages weren't helping him.
I don't think so.
One there, Maguire should have left.
Yeah,
Maguire should have left. He wanted a centre back.
That was Maguire's decision, I think, wasn't it, not to go to West Ham?
Yeah, he wanted to pay
off. 100%. He took the captaincy off him. No one said anything. Cool, perfect, great decision. Yeah. Sancho, there's a disagreement there. He hasn't apologized. Cool, you're not in the team. At this current moment, I haven't seen a moment where he's lost, or not saying lost in terms of the overall, because you have to win games to really win as a manager. But in terms of the little battles, he's not. The club have not said, "Yo, you have to do this, you have to do that." He's calling the shots.
No, he's led the talent ID. He's led that, because again, that for me is an indictment of Man United. When we originally were negotiating with him, it took about several weeks. It took literally 2 or 3 weeks, and that was him basically saying, "I will want this, and I will lead this, and I will lead that." And Man United at the time were on their knees. They had Ralph Ragnick. He obviously wasn't great. They had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They were like, "This guy is the man," and every United fan thought he was a man. But the problem is, though, you need a football club that's intelligent. You have to have them both working together. And I think for me, I think Gary Neville said it in his podcast today, is that I think a lot of it was kind of driven by Ten Hag. And sometimes in a football club, the manager doesn't always know best. And this is where you need a specialist recruitment team to analyze it and be like, right, we've got this player, we've got that player. But because he knew of the kind of how many players that they bought that's so bad, he's like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to lead this. I'm going to get my guys in. And obviously, Lisandro, Anthony, he's seen obviously Malacia from back in the days. Certain players, Onana now, he's getting in his players. And this is where I'm like, some of it, I'm like, yo, these are your players. You didn't really need to buy Mount, but you bought Mount because you knew him from Vitesse and you kind of had the relationship. This is why some of it is on him. You need to see a style of play now. And I'm sorry, man, Brighton had 6-7 players out, but yet you could still see what they were trying to do. You mentioned Dahoud, free signing. They didn't have Caicedo, they didn't have their regular players, but they still managed to implement the style of play.
Estepinian was rested, or was he injured?
No, I think he was out.
Lamptey was injured.
Lamptey played on that side.
Lamptey, bro.
No,
Lamptey ran the show, man.
Wait. Was Ten Hag signings not all being rated last year though? Like Lisandro, was he not a banger? Casemiro was not being the best defensive midfielder in the league. United fans were saying him. Malacia, perfect backup option for Luke Shaw. You were saying Anthony might be the only one. Okay, you can say he hasn't lifted off, and because he's obviously the highest price. But okay, Mount has come in this year, but I feel like that's also being overblown a little bit because you've barely even seen him.
No, 100%. Obviously, it's one of them though where because of what we need, he's similar to Bruno Fernandes, isn't it? Like I for my own self, and I know what Mason Mount's about. I think for me, it's too similar off the ball. And on the ball, too similar to Bruno. So then I know how the midfield's going to kind of shape. And you kind of seen it with the first 2 games, is that we were not really having the ball. And out of possession, we weren't really coordinating in that sense. I don't think it's much to do with more the signings. It's more to do with now you've got the signings. How do we kick on now? And I think, yes, it's too soon to kind of judge Ten Hag right now. But also, it needed to be a bit more established what we're doing. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, you've got the key things that you wanted. And I think for us, as a Man United fan, I just want to see more of what you are bringing to Man United. And right now, I don't see that. And yes, it's about results. And you can go and get De Zerbi, and they might play good football, but you might still finish 8th. Still not, you know what I mean? You know, the story is not always telling. But at the same time, I need to see a bit of both results and a style of playing and what we would call heading in the right direction. And unfortunately, I haven't seen that. You know, I have to be open and honest. I could have this blind faith and be like, yeah, he'll get it right. But what I've seen on Saturday was players not even pressing. And when you don't have players pressing, yeah, bro, that's for me, it speaks volume because I've seen that under Ollie. I've seen that under Mourinho. I even seen that under Ragnick, and he was interim. So I know the players, for me, they're the real issue as well because they've been under 4 or 5 different managers. So at the end of the day, the book has to lie with them. But at the same time, the manager has certain favourites and he's quite stubborn. And when you add them together, then it's not looking good for you, bro. So he has to get rid of the stubbornness and actually take off players that are not playing well and make us better as a team. Not individuals, as a team. And we'll be better for it. But, you know, this is the issue that he's got with it right now.
Even if you put, like, obviously Man United are a bigger club than Arsenal, the biggest club in England. Even if you put that to the side, and I think it was FUAD that mentioned Arteta, Saeed, you mentioned patience and needing patience with managers now. The thing is, when Arteta came in, I think, you stop me if I'm wrong or if you think different, but I think Arsenal were in a worse position. Again, that's not my point. Arsenal in a worse position. Arteta comes in with no experience. And Arteta was, from the get-go, as much as I had many doubts about him, Arteta spoke very well. He was honest. He said, listen, it's not about, you know, we can't talk about winning right now. We've got to talk about fixing the culture at the football club. We've got to talk about connecting the fan base back to the club again and the players back to the fan base. He talked about everything off the pitch needing to be right before it is on the pitch. Whereas Ten Hag comes in saying era's come to an end. He's got a bit of an egotistical vibe. And the thing is, a lot of great managers do have that. But when you have that aura, when you say these things, you're not going to get given the time that Arteta was given at Arsenal, because you've come in with experience at a team that's better placed than Arsenal were, and you're saying era's come to an end in reference to Pep and Klopp.
Yeah, he should not have said that.
If Arteta come in and said era's come to an end, he would have been out the door in a year and a half max, because that's
he looks a shadow of that guy that said that. If you look at Ten Hag now, he looks a shadow of the man that came in with all that jest saying era's come to an end, and you lads, you were all lapping it up, you know, era's come to an end, and it
was good at the start though. It was fun.
It was fun at the start. I was like, yo. Bro, I enjoyed it. But if you look at him now, man, he looks like a shadow of that guy. And I'm starting to question the relationship he has with his dressing room. There were some things that I saw throughout that game that make me go, I'm not sure the players are buying into this guy. I'm not sure they really believe in what he's trying to do. I'm seeing things like, yeah, you can say, well, they're not really his players, like Eriksen and McTominay, who are the ones I'm going to talk about. They're strolling back when Brighton are in full attack mode, just walking back towards defensive shape. I'm saying, what the hell is that about? Garnacho coming off the bench, taking off his training jacket and slamming it on the ground as he's about to walk onto the pitch. That doesn't look like the kind of ladders in the mind frame to come on and bring you back into a game. He's taking He's probably your biggest threat in the game. Probably your biggest threat in the game is Rasmus Højlund. Ten Hag's taking him off. If I was a player, I'd be saying, what the hell is he doing? Why is he taking him
injury precaution, that one?
Yeah.
You know what it was, but the problem was,
that's been blown out of proportion.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? It was at that time, yeah. I get it now in hindsight, everything is obviously. But at the time, bro, he was our best player. You know what? Yeah. Sometimes when you're young and you're in the game, you have that adrenaline. And I just think for me, you could have gave it a little bit more, maybe more 10 minutes
No,
more.
see,
Give him a
that's
little
the thing.
bit more.
Hold on, but if he gets injured now, and now
No, I hear that.
and
But
Martial's
Wan-Bissaka's injured now, mate.
Yeah,
Wan-Bissaka's
listen,
injured. After coming off the 5 minutes, bro.
You have 11 injuries. You already have an injury crisis, right?
Bro, you see how
if Højlund goes down injured and Martial has to start against Bayern Munich and against physical Burnley,
you are finished.
You're finished. And the season is long. The season is long. The season is long.
No, but hold on a minute. The thing is, I can never control injuries. Hold on a minute. I can never control injuries. And if we always think like that as a fan,
bro,
it's very, very difficult.
There are doctors.
I hear that.
Medical team that's probably advised him to say, this is how many minutes Højlund can play. Don't get caught up in the game and the crowd. This is how many minutes he can play. There's medical teams that are told to give these instructions, and he's took him off. You think he wanted to take Højlund off? You man needed a goal.
No.
Who did he bring off for Højlund? He didn't want to.
I'm backing Matisse with that.
He didn't want to take
the least of your problems. The least of your problems. The big issue is what Hughie pinpointed, and this is where you have to analyze and deep. Are they playing for him? Because this is madness.
No, they are playing for him. Playing for him.
I'll tell you why there's doubts in my head. Because this is not the first humbling that you guys have had. We can all remember, we can all talk about 5, 6 mad humblings that you've had where your guys give up. Wow. I
think they're confused, GRIZZ. I think they're confused more than giving up. I think they don't know what they're doing.
That was a training ground exercise. City have gone their training ground exercise. Liverpool have gone their training ground exercise. I don't know about anyone else. Can anyone else talk? Brighton 3 times training ground exercise where players are strolling. Players are not putting the effort in. That is solely down to the coach and believing in him because you don't give up. Because if you see signs of giving up, then you have to question everything about your club, man.
No, I heard that. And that would be, for me, the final straw of the manager.
Forget tactics, forget structures, forget everything else. If the players are giving up after 60 minutes, 70 minutes, like they all were, even your man Bruno and Rashford, these are your leaders. These are your main guys. Your futures are based on Bruno and Rashford. Am I wrong?
Bruno is the captain of this team. How many times in big games against proper opposition do we have to keep saying that this guy does not perform? I'm tired of saying it, bro. He's been given the armband on a default because Maguire couldn't handle that either. He couldn't handle the magnitude of what that is.
But even the Bruno debate, Matt.
But Bruno didn't do anything in this game. At least Rashford was actually, I get there's a lot of criticism for Rashford, but if I'm being completely honest, watching that game, Rashford is the only player that actually did anything, that actually looked like he could do something. Yes, his spatial awareness, he should have passed at times and he should have laid it off for this person, that person. But he was a genuine threat. When he got the ball in that first half, maybe something could happen. The rest of the guys out there, they didn't contribute. Honestly, the rest of the guys out there, the Brunos, Ericsson.
I don't think Rashford gives a shit about Man United.
Well,
where have you heard that from? GRIZZ sources, is it?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think Rashford's about Rashford.
No, but you know what it is for me?
He doesn't pass the ball. He just wants goals.
Rashford's about Rashford.
So is that him being selfish, or is that him trying to take responsibility and say, "I am going to take this team"? Do you know what I mean? You can look at it both ways.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I think for me, because he's got in this mindset last season, he was a main guy. He's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna take this team with me. And I'm like, yo, brother,
he still is the main guy, bro. He is still.
No, I get 100%. But bro, you've got to look up and pass, bro. You know what I'm saying to you? And for me, that pass there, it was literally right in front of Højlund. Højlund could have had it. And I think sometimes, he did it against Arsenal last week as well. Last week against Arsenal, there was a time where he could have played in Højlund as well. And I think sometimes, bro, you got to pass, man. Like, it ain't all about the glory. And I get it. You're the main guy for goal scoring. But sometimes, you know what? Yeah, having a player who then is almost like gives others a supply or gives others the chance to score goals is probably better for the team in the long run than someone who maybe scores all the goals. That's just the way I kind of look at it. And I want to get to that situation.
But Bruno's wastefulness with his passes and being allowed to carry on trying to play a killer pass every time he's on the ball. Forget Anthony. Rashford's play. Who's this all on? This is on the coach implementing, being strong enough to say, I don't want you to play that game. I want you to play my game.
This is his favorite.
Is that Ten Hag's philosophy? Is Rashford playing like Rashford, or is Rashford playing like how Ten Hag wants him to play? Is Anthony playing like Anthony, or is how Ten Hag? And same for Bruno, and same for the rest of them. Because to me, they look like they're playing their game individually.
if he keeps getting those actions wrong, Ten Hag's pulling him to the side and saying, you need to do this, this, and this, or I'm taking you off. And part of this is the problem where Rashford doesn't have any genuine competition because he knows he's starting week in, week out. And
That's what I'm saying. He knows.
Do you think he just doesn't have to take Rashford off? Do you think he just doesn't have the balls to take him off?
No, because it's one of his favourites. And listen, I'm not going to go too deep into it with the Sancho situation, but I think for me, yeah, it's clear that this is his guy, innit? And for me, he stuck. This is the way I kind of look at it. He stuck the place out for me. Yes, he tried, but bro, man, when you're trying too hard to the detriment of the team, I'm sorry, man, that ain't on. And especially his off-the-ball movement is the worst in the league. I'm telling you right now, his pressing and his off-the-ball work, Rashford, is the worst in the league. His pressing, when you actually deep it, he half-hearts, does it? And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Are you pressing or you're not? And for me, the first goal comes from the side of Rashford because he leaves Eriksen wide open. And sometimes you can't do that, man. So I feel like for me, sorry? No, it's not, but I don't think it's the height it's got to, but he just needs to kind of
Rashford's head for sure. All of
this he needs to humble himself then, innit?
All of this stuff, so focused.
But that's a celebration, though.
Bro, do you remember when man was at Novak Djokovic and Kimmich, and he thought anyone that did this?
Like, yeah, man.
He got lost in the sauce during that run, you know. He got lost in the
No, that's a celebration, isn't it? I ain't gonna discredit man, innit? Because at the end of the day, he's got the goals. But you know what? Yeah, I've been calling it out since 2019.
His attitude, you would think he's getting 20, 25 goals from the wing. That's the problem. He's not getting that. So he doesn't make up for not tracking back. Huh?
Didn't he do that last year?
In the league, no.
Oh no.
You got like
17 in the league, I think it was. 30 in all competitions.
Getting mad numbers from wide positions ain't for everyone.
Well, listen.
It ain't for everyone.
That's why you win in the league. You lot win the league, man. But listen, I think for me, yeah, I look at it, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes, for me, calling the manager out is reactionary right now, but I don't blame people the way they're feeling right now because it's the second year. We're second year into the process, as you call it. You know what I mean, and whatnot. And we need to see ultimately better, man. And time doesn't wait for anyone. As much as you say time, I'm not going to be naive to think, you know what, Ten Hag has got a million time on his cut. You don't. And ultimately, results will speak for himself. And ultimately, progress, the way it's made. And if you lose the dressing room. So, I don't know, man. I'm not going to I'm keeping firm. I'm keeping, you know what I mean, reserved. I know Turkish wants me to say it and all that, but right now, I'm just probing. I'm watching closely. You know what I mean? And then what happens after that?
The new one's probing. This season's
probing. Yo.
Last season was experimenting.
I'm probing, that's what I'm doing.
This season's probing. Last season was experimenting. And this season,
he was in the lab last season. This season,
with your probing side, at what point will you call the manager out? If you're saying you're regressing, how can he claw that back?
Well, listen, that's if he doesn't be stubborn. That's if he changes things. That's if results turn in his favor. We play a better style of football. There's a lot of things that can help. But right now, I can't lie to you. I'm watching him carefully and I'm seeing what he's gonna do next. Because I think he's stubborn, man. I think he's the guy stubborn, bro. And I'm starting to see it more and more. So yeah, man, we're probing. That's the next one now. Experimenting last season, and obviously we were in the lab. It didn't work out, but now we're probing, innit? That's what we're doing now.
What is it? What is it that I want you to say? What are you talking about? Ten Hag out?
Yeah, you just want me to say Ten Hag out because I've seen yesterday your message. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be Ten Hag out by Christmas, Saeed. He'll be Ten Hag out by Christmas. I don't think Ten Hag sees the end of the season. In all personally,
you not taking bets yet?
Yeah, I don't think he sees the end of the season.
What month you lot going? Let's.
I'm gonna say after the second Manchester derby, which I think is in March.
I'm telling you, he walks.
I think he walks or he gets sacked. I think he's slowly losing the dressing room. I think he's slowly losing Old Trafford. I think he's too slow with the actions that you're talking about. We need to see the start of play. You were saying that 6 months ago. It's like deja vu. You got beaten by Brighton again, start of the season. Time's at the essence now. He's no longer that new kid on the block trying to, stamp himself in English football and make his name and bring that. Where's he gone?
Wow. This is what happens when you spend 45 minutes roasting a brother. You know what I'm saying? This is
Ten Hag underestimated. He underestimated how big the Man United job is.
He's left.
He underestimated how much pressure would be on him at Man United, Ten Hag. He came with
but
all
this
this
is-
chest.
but this is-
All
but this
this chest. Era's
hold
come
on,
to
but
an
this
end
is
when he was asked
why-
about Pep and Klopp. He doesn't have the right to even take their names out of your mouth, Ten Hag.
But
you
this
do
is
not have
why-
the right to mention Pep and Klopp because you've been slapped up by both of them multiple occasions.
But this
And
is
now look at
why.
him.
But this is why I don't like to. I agree with Saeed, where like we're talking about Postecoglou, we're talking about De Zerbi. How would these guys fare in a higher pressure job where the expectations, the demands, everything around them, Old Trafford, the commercials, the whole size and of the club is completely different, and the politics and the egos dealing with these things,
100%.
and then go into your tactics. I get that these guys are playing very good football right now. Credit to them, and that's why when and if they make that jump up, we'll want them to show that again. Similar with Graham Potter at Brighton. Same Brighton that went to Manchester United last season, played them off the park, comes to Chelsea and can't really stamp his authority and all the other stuff going on around as well. For me personally, it's very different to stamp your authority at a top club than to just do it at any old club, because the pressure to win at Man United is every single week. When Brighton lost 5-1 at home to Everton, no one talked because no one cared. Do you see what I'm saying? And you can get away with that. So
a couple of things with that. You have to do your research, not only for players,
Due
but for
diligence.
coaches.
Due diligence.
You have to know the tempo.
that they don't fold and bend.
Bro,
Okay,
if
You have to know
you're
the
a manager
temperament.
like Potter or what's his name, De Zerbi, you do your due diligence on your next step. Where are you going to make your come up? I'm telling you,
I wouldn't advise him to come
now.
Huey.
We
I would
said this for
advise
players as well. We
You
said this for
don't
players
choose.
as well.
You don't go to Chelsea and you don't go to Man United. They are graveyard clubs for anybody on the come up. Do not go there.
But not only that, Huey.
What I would say. Even I'm saying that.
But not only that, Huey. Not only from the coaches side going to a club. When the club is hiring coaches, you do your due diligence on the temperament of the man and what he's capable of, and you look through. You have to be thorough. It ain't about picking the next best thing who's there.
But let's not do Richarlison. Ten Hag was the right man for the football club. Let's not be around the bush. Ten Hag was the man.
Okay, Saeed, but then implement the system and the structure that he was the man in. You can't.
When Qataris come.
You're still going on about
Ajax
that.
is
I
running
should
like
actually
the
bring the
Qataris.
Kano
That's what I'm
meme
saying.
in now.
No, but
When the
Ajax is
Qataris
running
come,
like
when we have a
the
proper
Qataris, that's what I'm
structure,
saying.
when we have
This is
everything in
Man
place,
United
when the
fans.
Glazers leave,
This
that's
is
when
what
you
Man
see
United
Man
fans.
United
This one,
successful
more
again.
money.
When the Glazers leave, that's when you'll see Man United successful again. Right now, I don't recognize my club.
More money.
You know what it is?
No, it isn't more money. It's spent in the money right. That's the problem, GRIZZ. We spent money, spending it right. You get me?
Who's going to spend it right?
Ten Hag hasn't spent it.
Well, when we have a structure, Ten Hag, but then followed by the structure. That's what's going to happen.
He's brought his guys in, innit? The structure didn't bring his guys.
But that's an indictment on the board, though. Shouldn't happen, though. Shouldn't be a guy that goes to the shopping to himself. Imagine I give you the credit card right now, GRIZZ, and I say to you, go buy something, yeah, when you were a kid, and then you come and buy something that's just mad, and your mum's like, why do you spend all the money? Who are you going to blame?
You bring Ten Hag in,
or the
not
guys
giving
on
the
top?
keys transfer-wise. Why are you bringing
No, who are you going to blame? Who are you going to blame? You or your parents? Who are you going to blame? Who are you going to blame? You or your parents?
Yeah, mom.
You're always on about this magical structure, this magical structure that you want. You bring a manager and he's giving the keys, and he's doing shit. That's bottom line.
I'm sorry. I know you heard that. Yeah, no.
Obviously, I'm not trying to say like Pep doesn't have a much better talent ID, but didn't you guys bring in Tiki before Pep arrived? Like literally months before. Line them up, right? That's
they were
the way
already
to do it. We talk about Edwards with Klopp. And I spoke about it when we had Tuchel calling the shots when the ownership come in. They ripped apart the infrastructure, fair enough, because it was also making mad transfer decisions. Tchouaméni, Salah, Zakaria. But you gave Tuchel the keys. Not every manager should be given the keys. Managers are managers. They're not scouts. They don't know.
There must be a balance, man.
They don't have time to watch. They don't have time to watch Alvarez at River Plate.
Michael Edwards. Look at Michael Edwards.
You can't just say, oh, does the manager? Because that's why Ten Hag is going after everybody he knows, because that's all he has time to see.
But this is
time to see. That's why Klopp wanted Mario Götze and Julian Brandt. What did they give him? Salah and Mane. I keep making that reference. That is critical. Sorry, I have to say this. That is absolutely critical to the success of Liverpool Football Club. If those intelligent people didn't make that decision to get Salah, and Mane, and they went and got Julian Brandt and Mario Götze, where the hell would Liverpool Football Club be right now?
You are spot on.
Where would they be?
Matisse, you are spot on. You know why? Because we done our due diligence into what kind of manager Klopp is. Klopp was used to working under a director of football. I do the coaching, you bring me the players. Man City, even though Pep's a genius, they knew, what's that guy's name? How do you say his name, Huey?
Tiki.
Which one?
Tiki Bergestein or something. Bergestein. Yeah. Same structure. So even Pep knows his role. Klopp knows his role. I'm telling you, he don't know his role. He needs to know his role.
The thing is, though, but he shouldn't be given that much of a role. Like, you need to, like, if I'm a club,
saying that,
I get the manager. I get the manager can have an idea of what he wants and whatnot, but you've got to work together. Not you go out there and you lead the recruitment role. It has to be a togetherness, and when you have a togetherness, you're more enough successful. And that's what you're seeing right now with Brighton and whatnot. They're now starting to succeed, and if whoever comes in next, bro, they got the talent ID, the database is there, right? Caicedo, who did they buy? The next Caicedo just now, and that comes from research.
Do you know what? It's the final thing I want to say, right? Man United as a club, they have been so down in the dumps for so many years. It's almost like they worshipped Ten Hag before he arrived. They saw his Ajax team. They saw what he did with the semi-final reach.
We were on our knees,
they heard the name and they heard all of the kind of aura that went around. And they thought, wow, this guy, he's coming to the interview. He knows what he's talking about. He's not Ollie. He's not a legend of the club. Like, they saw him as an outsider coming in. They thought him alone was going to fix everything. They didn't bring him in with a structure and be like, right, this is your role and I'm going to build this around you. They thought he was just this miracle worker.
It's desperation. It's desperation.
Yeah, desperation. Yeah, exactly.
They've been doing that. Man United have been doing that. They crown superstars before they kick the ball. The Butcher, Hoyland's played what? A combined 70, 80 minutes? And he's already the second coming of Jesus Christ himself. Ten Hag. All these people were crowned unbelievable before they did anything.
When you was hearing the way Ollie was speaking towards the back end of that tenure and the way Ten Hag probably come into that interview, bro, they must have lost their minds.
Every great manager in football history has had a say in transfers. So this is not an excuse that completely absolves Ten Hag of blame here, because great managers have a say. Even Klopp, of course, some man were picked for Klopp. Klopp had the say for some man. That's just the way it is. I mean, I've learned a lot in the last few years because it was desperation for us when Wenger left, when Emery was in charge, when Emery got sacked. It was I wanted a Simeone. I was looking at the biggest name out there who's done bits somewhere else. Bring him in and do the same here. But over the next 3 years, what's unraveled is we brought in an Arteta who no one can justify giving him keys. And I'm not saying we gave him keys, but within 6 months, he was turned from a head coach to manager, which is a bit more, room to be creative. From there, Edu was already in. From there, him and Edu have learned along the way. And in modern day football, when systems are the key, whether you like it or not. I don't really like it in comparison to football 20 years ago, but now it's all about the system and it's all about the correct pieces in the correct places. The systems come from managers. The systems don't come from directors of football and all this. The systems come from managers. So who better to know what piece you need for this system than the manager? So I'm not buying the whole,
but it's, I hear you. But it's further than to kind of criticize Ten Hag when results don't go right, and also the pressure is more on him then, and that's justifiable.
Maybe you'll answer one question for me, Saeed. If not the Ten Hag out one, Arsenal levels on Man United, right? Because you argued with me a couple of weeks ago. I want to know if that's changed.
What levels? What do you mean? Have you won anything?
Bro.
You're going to argue again? Let me tell you what I mean. Can I tell him what I mean? Can I tell him what I mean?
Well, yeah, go on.
One of potentially to some greatest manager in Premier League history, top 3 manager of all time in world football, was asked about Arsenal. Serious response. Asked about Liverpool. Serious response. Asked about Man United. He laughed. That's levels, bro. That's levels. That's what I'm saying to you. Arsenal are. You have to admit that Arsenal are here right now in comparison to United.
The silence is deafening.
Yo, let's move on. Let's move on, man. He's cooked enough. Stop. Bro, he's already dead, man.
Until you win something, this is just air, man. Don't become the next Tottenham, man. Don't become the next Tottenham.
Let's go, Tottenham.
Don't become the next. Are you aspiring to be Tottenham?
Let's talk about Jadon Sancho. Where is that little fat piece of bacon?
That's all I'm saying. Is he aspiring to be Tottenham? Let's just talk about the great Arsenal that never won anything. Okay, you're Tottenham, then okay.
Let's not body shame. Do you know what I'm saying? Adults raps, baller.
Sorry, FUAD, but you know what I mean? I had to say something.
Eden Hazard, do you know what I'm saying? Had a bit of weight on him.
And they're trying to aspire to be you, man. I don't know.
Bro. I'll talk to us nicely, bro.
Hey, telling you, Big Angie's on things, man.
I was chilling. I was minding my business. Like, man, just sending straight shots.
Bro, he came. So, look, he's quiet. Look, he's got red. He's got red now.
Anyone can get it. Anyone. He
got red. He's got red.
You can't compare us to Tottenham, bro. You got your rivals manager laughing at you. It's all bad. You think Ange could ever laugh? You think Ange could ever laugh at Tottenham? I mean, laugh at Arsenal. Ange could never. Ange could never.
Well, he might do after this weekend.
Oh,
no, we speak soon.
I expect that to reflect your predictions, yeah?
We speak soon on that one.
Don't go anywhere.
Right, listen. You're at the bottom of the league, bro.
I know. That's why I need you to be predicting that. Don't go anywhere. Trying to catch up.
Now, people are right, man. People are saying nearly an hour on a dead club, man. Like, what's this, man? We don't, you know what I mean? We can't be.
I think we should evenly apportion the rest of the time.
It's not about the
money. And you know as well, yeah.
Man United are not that relevant anymore, honestly.
Time. Can we agree, yeah, guys? If Man United are more shit, we spend less time on that because we know what we're about in it. So is that fair?
You know your role, yeah?
Bro, Superchats, innit? Man's got a flight to catch, man. Hurry up, man.
Hey, Man United know their role. Job done. They know their role.
I'm gonna move into Superchats.
When you next book, can you let me know? Yeah.
yeah. You're coming with me next international break, bro. We're there.
Listen, we are going to move on to Super Chats, but before we do, I didn't even introduce the show. I didn't even introduce FUAD stepping in again off the back of last week's mini appearance, but he will be stepping in for the next 3, I hope, because Tobes is on a cruise, and he said the Wi-Fi ain't good enough, so North London Derby weekend. Hopefully, it's FUAD repping before and after. So, we have to sign the after before the game, FUAD.
The game is the game, man.
Nah, brother.
I thought I could come throw some bombs and get out of here.
I know where FCM's recording now, bro. I'll run up on you man's set on Sunday and we'll do it there. We don't need Big Six. I'll do it FCM.
You got me.
We've got 8.3k in the building. We've got 1,300 likes. First things first, let's get it to 2,000. Second things second.
Only 1.3k likes. Are you mad?
Yeah. Well, they haven't seen you. They haven't seen you rubbing the moustache yet. That's why. So now you're doing that.
Brothers, sisters, nephews, and nieces, man. Run up the likes, man. You lot idiots, man.
I say you don't go anywhere. Super chat time real soon. So I'm gonna wait for you. While we wait, scroll down, people. FUAD's channel is in the description below. Also, FCM, the new pod, Old Faces, new pod. It's out Sundays, every Sunday. DR Sports. FUAD is one of the 3 faces on there. Cams is another. Big up Cams. He was on the last show, and big up Maze as well. So go show them some love. And this channel, my channel, HUGH's channel, Saeed's channel, GRIZZ's channel, Matisse's channel, and THUGGERY's channel, all in the description below. Make sure you're subscribed, people. Show some love, because we're all doing content on our own channels too. Well, people will say I'm not, but yeah, it's coming, people. It's coming. Time is of the essence. Let me get into the super chats. Brax says, Saeed asked a good question on his hate along. Which is worse, United losing to Brighton at Old Trafford or Arsenal losing at Goodison? Guess we'll never know. Is that what you asked?
Oh, they asked me a question. That's all it was.
You wanted the super chats, bro. So here we are. Brother says, Saeed, the world's best DM, Casemiro, did boss the midfield again, didn't he?
Some good times for Casemiro at the minute.
I can tell this is going to be short but sweet.
Yeah, short but sweet.
Saeed is getting flights to find where Dalot and Martinez got sent to. I just clocked the name and the DP. Please, just please. Karma, people. Karma with all these usernames and shit. Let's move. No, that's not you. Actually, yeah, Ash. After spending 400 M's, Klopp won the Premier League. Arteta challenged, and both had worse starting squads. Will 10 hairs make the top 6? Scandalous. We've all made changes. One change to our season predictions. I'm going to publish them on the Instagram and the Twitter tomorrow. So make sure you follow us on the socials as well.
I changed mine.
Sure. You've made your change, my bro. Glenn says that diamond midfield needs a diamond tester. And talk about Rash Bandicoot.
Are you finishing above me? Are you finishing above Liverpool, Saeed? Just quickly before we move on.
Well, I can't change, so
you've been laughing at me every time I ask you the question. You laugh at me.
Well, Turkish said I can't change, so we have to move on.
That's actually a good question because there was a there was
they
a
laughed at me, Turkish. They keep laughing every time I said something. But know your role now, innit? 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later, shit's changed.
Life's
Matisse. No, that one's Chelsea. Let me save that one for Chelsea. That one's Arsenal. All right, cool. 40 side says, is Ten Hag losing the dressing room? First Ronaldo, De Gea contract issues, Maguire stripped of captaincy, and now Sancho publicly criticised. Right or wrong, it seems a lot of players to be clashing with. It is a lot of players, but there's a lot I agree with Saeed, especially coming from where Arsenal were and what Arteta had to do initially in the first couple of years. We had to take a lot of L's, contractually, transfer value wise, and so on. So they're kind of in that place now. But when you're spending 90 M's on the other side of things, that's where the pressure, in my opinion, is different. And United are a bigger club. Man United identity issue goes back to Ferguson years. Back then, their identity was winning. Well, you're not winning now. So what's your identity as a club?
That's true. Nothing.
Nothing. King Stash says United is a PR club, not a proper football club. Football always beats pace and power. We gas out after 20 minutes. We focus on selling shirts and making statements over the football. Been there as well. GRIZZ, I apologize for saying United are finishing above Liverpool. We were awful, but I've seen Spurs instill an identity in less time. I love Ten Hag, but he needs to be better. This isn't good enough. Now, this is where there's a balance to it, and this is where football, especially for fans and supporters, it's gone too crazy. Everyone wants their belief to come true, so they just swing at one complete direction and the other side. If I throw in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, United fans might say, or some fans might say, he created an identity straight away. It might not have been the best identity, but he came in, hit the ground running. United started winning games. What did it turn out to in the end? So it's not always hitting the ground running and finding the identity within 2 months, like Ange has done. Sometimes it does take longer. There's examples for and against both arguments. So it's a tough one. All I know is when Arsenal were winning big things 10 years after we stopped, that's the realization for me that we were finished and we were in the mud. And it's 10 years for United, and Saeed's a very different man now. Although that could change. We'll see. Just Waffling says United only have one elite player. The difficulty Ten Hag has with bringing in young players who want to be at United. If you bring them into this chaos and they don't bang, the media circus will ruin them. Partly.
What was that previous one saying sorry about to me? He said,
sorry for saying United will finish above Liverpool.
Yeah. When are you going to apologize to me, Brother Saeed?
I made my prediction now. I can't change.
You can do it without a super chat, by the way. You don't need to send a super chat. You can
just tell him. No comment.
No comment.
When you see me not talking, no comment. No comment.
And on that,
I feel like I'm hostage right now. You know what I mean? Leave me alone.
He wants to move on. He's just waiting for the last couple of super chats and he can start packing.
When's this gonna end, Robbie? When's this gonna end, man? Oi.
When's it gonna end, Robbie? That last super chat though, again, yes or no? There's arguments for and against both sides. Saka and Martinelli came into a fucked up Arsenal side, but they excelled. Saliba, it wasn't a fucked up Arsenal side, but we had just lost out on top 4 to Tottenham. He comes in, hits the ground running. So it depends on the type of young players, mentally, where they're at in their career as well. It's a difficult one. Sometimes players thrive in these conditions because they can take it all on their shoulders, e.g. Saka, and, kick on. So there is an argument that young players can come in and make a change, but is there young players there that can? That's the question. Well, you had one coming on and scoring a banger and then celebrating. I can't lie, I would have been mad as a United fan the way he was.
Wait, can we speak on that?
What was wrong with that?
Nah, bro, you can't celebrate like that 3-1 down at your home.
Nah, come on, man. Come on, man. Why not?
Why not?
Scored his first goal at the club. Like, he
exactly.
He just did a few fist pump. I think it was the little ball at the end that maybe upset people. But I'm like, bro, what? academy graduate is not allowed to be happy for his first goal.
No, you have to be happy.
In the corner or
Hold on.
Not when you're down 3 by 3 goals.
Listen, when you're getting embarrassed at home, you do the old fist, you shout, and then you come.
Man. He's had, you know what, Grizz, he's had a struggle 3 years. You know, he's not had opportunity. He's not had game time, and that was a moment at Stretford End.
I'm happy for him.
Stretford End.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for your club. That it's all about personal glory, FC. No problem.
Now you're the celebration police, man.
This is a problem. This is a problem with your club right now.
It's not, bro. It's not everything's deep, bro. Let him celebrate and we move on. It didn't change the outcome, so it's not as if
he's gonna come out of the statement next week. He's gonna come out of the statement
next week. Listen, I'm not one of these people that monitors celebrations or anything like that, but I just thought the distance around that was crazy.
I'm telling you now, yeah. I'm saying it right now, yeah. If it was a Liverpool player, wallahi, he would not say anything. I'm telling you right now. If it was a Liverpool player, if it was Ben Doak, you would have been like, yeah, man. I'm telling you, man.
I guarantee you, wallahi, no Liverpool.
Don't say wallahi, man. Don't say wallahi. Because I know you, bro. Because I know you. Because I know you. I know you, bro.
No Liverpool player.
Do you know what? After Liverpool celebrated that 2-2 at home to West Brom,
you don't
exactly.
Don't you dare.
Bro, Grizz.
Next hour is for you.
Grizz, I know you, bro. I know you.
No Liverpool player. No City player or Liverpool player would have celebrated that losing at 3-0 at home. No City youngster or Liverpool youngster losing 3-0 at home would have celebrated like that. Fact.
Like what? But what is like that?
It meant that's the wrong mentality.
What is like that? I'm not understanding. Did he go knee slide in the corner?
That was on par with a knee slide, bro.
Man can't even look to the crowd.
He can't. So he's supposed to.
He's meant to be like this, yo.
And yo, we're 3-0 down, lad. Come on,
bro. Yes.
You know, FUAD, you know what they want him to do?
No emotion in football anymore. That's what you don't want. I'm just being clear here. You don't want no emotion.
By the way, did you see?
No.
Did you see what he did, by the way?
They want him to run and get the ball and then run back like Rudiger. You know how Rudiger runs.
By the way, can we just say?
Can we just say, yeah? He's gonna pick that ball up and ran back to the centre circle, back in Mardak.
You
ain't that guy. You ain't that guy. Tell him you ain't that guy.
The problem is, this is the problem with your clubs. You're used to Kane again, personal glory FC.
You know what's mad about this? This is rich, yeah. This is rich.
They don't want to know. No problem.
This is rich coming from a brother, yeah. Hold on a minute.
Last time Matisse didn't listen,
bro,
you know what happened?
Let me land. This is rich coming from a guy, yeah. He was in a jacuzzi after 5 games. He said like that. He said 5 games. You best know. This after 5 games. He's jacuzzi celebrating.
I said life's different.
Life's different. Yo, and you know what? He was posting it everywhere. He was posting it like. Yo, Saeed, he posted like it was Bellingham announcement, bro. He posted celebration it everywhere. Police now. He posted it everywhere, bro.
This guy's in a jacuzzi after 5 games. Celebrating. What are you celebrating for, man? It's 5 games in.
Done, I'm allowed to relax. Man got done a detox. Look at my skin.
You know what? You know he booked that after the full-time whistle.
Now you know my skin.
I know he did.
He had to book that, yeah. Then quickly get there and lie down and get the masseuse.
Why your skin looks so good? Now you know. Now you know.
Celebration police.
Let's run through the last couple of super chats. Final third says big disadvantage Ten Hag has over Postecoglou and Arteta is the way he speaks. Dutch people are very direct and it's not his first language. It feels like people take his words out of context a lot. Is what it is. Is there some of that there? I can agree with some of that, but it's definitely not. It's definitely not the reason for it all. Like I mentioned,
you shoot or something, man. Like Arteta pulls next to the cushions and.
What are you saying? Some PR?
Yeah, bro, man, get your PR up, man.
Where are we? Because I've just lost. There we are. You guys are wrong. The guys above didn't deliver. Ten Hag wanted Kane, Kim Min-jae, and Pavard, etc.
Kim Min-jae, man, that was a guy, man.
Talent ID.
That was a guy.
Again, I can say didn't Ten Hag want Rabiot when he got Casemiro? Isn't that something?
Yeah, I understand that. I get that. But for me,
I didn't know about that one.
No, but for me, Kim Min-jae was a guy, man.
win some, you lose some.
Turkish has been doing his research.
Well, of course, man.
Sam says, I think what Saeed is trying to explain is denial. And I think...
Yeah, it was Frankie, not Rabiot. It was Frankie. Don't try it. I knew it.
I know it's also Frankie as
like,
well.
there's no way Rabiot.
You know what I mean? He's just chatting rubbish.
No, hold on. You man wasn't linked to Rabiot last summer.
Nah.
No, we linked Rabiot, but he also wanted Frankie de Jong.
And they were waiting for
Yeah. But you lot, who told him to knock on the door and wait all summer for Frankie? Like, come on, knock on the door. He doesn't want you. Go and move on, bro. Like, what the hell? What are you doing?
It's not as easy as moving on, though, is it? You know what I mean? You got to make sure you get your man.
Hey, Rabiot.
Sometimes, the agenda's got to run, FUAD. The agenda's got to run. Saeed
These super chats are quite slow in it today, man. Hurry up, man.
Saeed is the type of person to do bare stepovers when
Bro,
stress comes.
I was taking forever with these, yo.
On his head.
Yeah, go on. Look at this guy here. He's chilling. Look at Matisse. He's chilling. And you're reading the super chats. 15 minutes is taking this now, man. Hurry up with this, man. Bro, this guy, how long is he taking with his super chats? Go on, anyway. Shout out to everybody that sent super chat, by the way.
I think we're down to our last one, maybe two. The House Square says, imagine Saeed trying to get away from Premier League fans by going Spain. He's going to get absolute non-stop pelters unless he's in disguise. And Aslan says, lots of waffle tonight. United have a director of football, so what's his role and how is he still in a job after all these years? Deep that and you understand the real issues. I've just seen a couple more. Kiefer says the year is 2016. United gets Pep and City gets Jose. Imagine how both clubs would have turned out today. How many PLs we reckon Pep would have won with United in those 7 years? Where you look at the money spent, then you'd have to assume in and around the same amount he's won at Manchester City. But you can't really guarantee. Gareth says Rashford is just a glorified Theo Walcott. Check the stats. And Balaji says, Ten Hag talking eras to Pep and Klopp from where he is. He is Eric Hag. 10 lost all. 7 to us last season and then 3 to Brighton. He's just a Dutch Ole. Turkish, we have not won anything yet. Still the same amount of trophies as Ten Hag. Yeah. Levels doesn't come to winning. But you doubled up on it. So thank you for both super chats. And I think that's... Go on here. We are probing Man United. And the smell, my word, the smell is awful. Someone must go in there and wipe everything clean. For the people listening on Spotify and all that, I cannot read that sentence fully. If you'd like to come over to the YouTube channel, you're more than welcome to see what that sentence is in its complete form. Let's move. That's all the super chats. Oh, one more, Stephen. I see your one there. Transition involves both attack and defense, and particularly pressing. It's not about only counter-attacking. Stop misunderstanding that Ten Hag quote. Cool. Matisse, you're laughing, and I see you commenting in the chat as well. Yeah, but I actually don't want to talk about Chelsea.
Yeah.
I actually don't want to.
We got to.
Bournemouth nil, Chelsea nil. What are we going to talk? To be honest, I'd rather go to FUAD next because Tottenham didn't get their section because FUAD missed it last time. They've come back 2 goals in injury time. They're they're on one again. So you might as well give FUAD the platform. Tottenham up next. Matisse, go get some tissue and wipe your nose and wash your face or something, bro. This guy's trying to escape something that wasn't even coming.
Oh, shit. No, do you know what it is? It's the chat. They're so angry. They wanted a whole monologue, a whole film. And I didn't get nothing from Skull. And we've done an hour and 20 minutes of thorough
record.
Manchester United cook.
This is a record for United.
And the super chats were
flying. It's a record.
I know GRIZZ is sitting there in the bottom of the screen, he just can't wait. And I know Tobes is gonna watch this on the replay. Like, where's the Chelsea section?
I'm calm.
Bro, this is crazy.
Hold that masterclass.
This is mad.
Do you get what I'm saying, though, innit?
Masterclass.
I really, Turkish. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I don't give a shit about Chelsea.
Yeah, no one does, bro.
Fair.
Bro, there's so much in the mud. We can't see you.
Yeah, man. Let FUAD go, man. Let FUAD go, man.
We can't see you. You're buried. You're buried. Your club is finished.
You
are finished. You are
FUAD go, man. Let FUAD go, man. Let him go. I want to hear about
FUAD. Go on, man. Tottenham, man. Things are looking good for you this season. Expectations gone with Harry Kane, but that freedom seems to be boding well for you, man.
Bruv, it's a new lease of life, bruv. I said coming into this season, I think a lot of Spurs fans have probably got the lowest expectations in a long time, and we never usually have much high expectations as it is. But losing Kane 2 days before the window, you're just thinking, bruv, this can go really, really left. But you got to give credit to the manager that's come in, and I think that's where everyone's kind of seems to be singing his praises at the moment, even every single rival, at how quick he's kind of been able to implement everything. Pressing, good high line, kind of patterns of play, good passing structure. Like, there's so many things, individuals, you're seeing much improvements. Like that game against Sheffield, prime example of it. I think coming back from the international break, you're kind of thinking, all right, the first bit of the honeymoon period, if you like, we've had some kind of beneficial fixtures, shown some character in the United game. Can we carry that on? Sheffield United is a kind of sticky game where it's like, yo, they can come and set up something disgusting for you. And bro, performance-wise, we've been playing really well, like really well. I don't think the past 4 years, what Spurs fans have been watching, brother, there have been seasons we've been wanting to gouge our eyes out with spoons, bruv. And I've never been one much for, oh, we need an ideology and, you know, we need the tiki-taka flow. It's not. As long as we're winning, I don't mind if it's kind of ugly. But what I'm just showing here is like, yo, I can give you actually something to enjoy, if you like. And even though we weren't winning throughout most of the game, the amount of chances we were creating, Basuma could have got one, Salah could have got one, Kulusevski showing confidence again, Solomon's coming to the side, he looks confident, Son through the middle, and then you're kind of thinking, fucking hell, nothing's coming. It's going to be one of them games. You get the dunk 15 minutes to go. I'm thinking, brother, the bubble's going to burst in it. Honeymoon phase is going to end with a Sheffield loss at home, and it's going to be a typical kind of, oh, Spurs are back to being what they are type of thing. But I think with Ange, and we saw this in the United game as well, team's got a bit of character. So listen, I'm someone who is a big, if you like, critic of Richarlison since we've signed him. But you got to give credit where it's due, bro. Coming off the bench, getting the goal, and the goal as well, for me, I think it was a top goal. You get the corner, the way he beats his man and get that clean header off, clean. And then the little build-up play on the left to get the assist for the second goal as well. There's no better feeling, I think, all six of us can speak, than a last-minute winner in a game, bro. No matter what the opposition is. Getting a last-minute winner like that, especially when the opponent has been wasting so much time as well, and then you get the additional time that you thought you were going to escape from, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. So for me, after this game, I'm kind of looking at it like honeymoon period successful. We had, I think, the second easiest fixture list outside of Chelsea, who have only picked up 5 out of their first 5. But we've kind of made it, you know what, every kind of result that we dropped last year, we've done better on that. And the games that we've needed to win, we've won that. And now the next 2 weeks, we've got some serious business coming up. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good time to kind of build your confidence, get the foundations in place. And I feel like Ange has done that perfectly. You're seeing players like Maddison. He's looking like he's taking the helms of this team, basically. Basuma looks like a whole new player. Romero looks like a whole new player. Udogie, brother, I've spoken enough about this, bro. He is going to be one of the top left backs in the world, bro. By the end of the season, people will be ranting and raving about him.
He got you that second goal, innit? Because he got
second goal, and that's, I'm so glad you mentioned that, bro, because that's become like a little bit of a pattern where he wins the ball high up, and then something comes off the back of it. And I think that's the thing with him is, you maybe thought there'd be a little bit of an adapting period for him or something like that. But physically, the way he's been able to come in, technically, the final ball is there, whether it's a cross, a pass, a little 1-2 he needs to pop off, bro. The guy is a top quality player. And listen, Richarlison, that's all we can ask for. We're not asking fill Harry Kane's boots. We're not asking for 20 goals a season. But when you come in here and there off the bench, come and be an impact. Come and give us something. So as long as he can give us that, ain't no Spurs fan complaining, but the real business begins the next 2 weeks, I say. The honeymoon period it's nice and we've enjoyed, but hey, it's about to get serious.
Now you're about to get sent home in an Uber. That's what you're about to do this week.
Hey, listen. You know what? Hey, Arsenal fans, I like this one because you lot have been the performances ain't really been there as well for you lot. I just feel like similar like it
You
was
got a swagger, man.
And I said this is the kind of perfect game where them man will just say, you know what, let's try to switch on the style or something. So I don't want us to fall into like a full sense of confidence because I'm looking at the games like Sheffield, Bournemouth. All right, Brentford away is tough, but United, they're kind of lackluster at the moment. They're games who, if this Spurs team is coached right with these players, if they play to their ability, we could win. But these next two games, I said, are going to be the true test of our levels. Going away to the Emirates, where we know we have a nasty record, where we know the last two games, what's it been, 3-0? One of them by halftime, Tobes was walking out. Brother, we don't know what's going to happen this time. So for me, I'm just hoping let's just leave there with a respectable performance. I'll take a draw, but a respectable performance is all I ask for. This I don't want this game to be the bubble bursting game. You know what I'm saying? And please don't let it be the. No, we had the Carabao Cup, and I feel like the Carabao Cup was, listen, we can say rotated squad, and even with that rotated squad, we shouldn't lose to that Fulham side because Fulham rotated as well. But now coming into this, you've built a nice set of confidence. You've built some solid foundations. Manager looking like he's got good in-game management as well because all three of those subs he made on the weekend, they're the ones that made the difference. So I'm hoping we can leave with a little something from the Emirates on the weekend.
Now, there's definitely a good feel factor in it, and just bring, and that's what I mean. We said at the start, or I said at the start, he's going to bring the feel good factor, and I just want you to wax little. If I was a Spurs fan, Bosuma,
bro, I'm so glad you're running with the name because I told Tobes this. This is what we're calling him this year.
No, he's outside of. I don't know. I mean, apart from like whoever, Man City winning every single game, Liverpool doing well, this guy's been phenomenal outside the big 2-3. This guy's been player of the season so far, man. It's like a new.
Him and Declan Rice have been the top midfielders this season.
But Declan Rice is on a trajectory, and it's an upward trajectory, and he's continuing that, which we kind of all expected, regardless of the price. We knew Declan Rice was going upwards, But Suma's had a dip, and it's a massive dip. And I love players that can rise again. And this guy had a horrible season. Why am I speaking on him, Basuma, when FUAD's here? But from my point of view, the reason why I'm speaking on him, he's been one of my favorites for a long, long time. When Liverpool were looking at him, I was like, please, please. And then obviously he had that business with the, feds and whatnot, And therefore we backed away kind of thing. But for me, he's still got the potential to be one of the best in his role in the whole Premier League. And I'm so kind of happy that he's doing it. Hope he doesn't do it against us and, or take our place in the Champions League or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But he's playing some serious football.
GRIZZ, you hit the nail on the head. He's approaching that prime age as well. He's got that experience in the Premier League. And last year, I felt like even for players, sometimes you have to go through these mentally testing years when, all right, the manager ain't feeling you. He's talking about tactically you don't fit. And I'm sure Tobes was sat here last year as well saying, yo, there's a player there. Give it time. Give it time. Everyone could see what that guy was at Brighton. People are talking about Concedo for 150 million, Rice for 100. Bro, he was doing all this.
What did he say?
Bro, listen, hey, I'm saying what
Concedo.
I don't call him that. That's what they're calling him on Twitter, innit? But Basuma, honestly, 25 million we're talking about. Hey, 25. Hear me out. Bentancur was 16 million pounds. Pape Sarr was 15 million pounds. Maddison, 30 million. If you're talking about we sent Harry Winks for 10 million that way. So these are the kind of like rejuvenation pieces that we've needed in this midfield for time. But honestly, Basuma, I think, as you said, he's going to be a game changer for us. So many top teams look for that defensive midfield position to be the kind of switch in it from back to front. You can see already he gets the most touches. He gets the most passes every single game. And him and Maddison, Lord, wait till Bentancur comes back, man. I love Sarr, and I'm glad he's getting that opportunity. But I don't want that pressure on players like him that every week we expect those performances from him. Give me my Bentancur back. You all saw what that guy was before the injury. If he can come back even 75% of that, hey, I just listen. It's an exciting time.
Finish that sentence. Finish that sentence.
Different. We're moving different, man. Come on.
Huh?
Finish that sentence. If Bentancur comes back, woo, what is it?
Like that midfield three, very cohesive. I love it.
What happened? What happened?
Nice.
Where does it go?
No,
there's no outcome.
Nice. I'll compliment my midfield.
Yeah. There's no outcome.
If he comes back fit, woo!
We're moving different.
Ric Flair tendencies. Sorry, yeah, I watched a lot of WWE growing up. You know, it's.
Now, I've been impressed, you know, man. When you look at it, yeah, I was in the stadium, yeah, and I was like, right, man, you know, Toby's in the mud, you know, at least I got someone next to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, 1-0 Sheffield United. And then I see the result, I said, yo, 2-1. And this is what I think, you know what, the belief, you know what I mean, that Andrew's brought in, that no matter what, they're going to find that inner belief. And that, for me, that's the biggest testament to Andrew this season. They're winning games where I didn't expect them to win. They're playing a good brand of football. And you know what? He's actually like got them actually liking to play for Tottenham. Like a lot of them didn't really like to play for Tottenham. And now they're looking like, I feel good. And I'm going to give Romero his praise and certain other man that I didn't see performing. And I will do that. Toby thinks I don't give praise to Romero. But you know what? Romero's coming into a shell right now. So there are players that are now performing to their maximum. So
just because FUAD's here, don't start acting up now, yeah?
Hey, let him act up, bruv! Talk, Saeed.
He's not. No, don't let this man tell you he's no Romero stand. He's not no Romero stand.
No, it's not about Romero stand. It's about being objective.
You
know what it is? It's about being objective. It's not like what Toby does. Toby has an agenda. I'm not like Toby. Toby, once he has an agenda, he runs with it and he don't let go. Whereas me, I'm a real football man.
What do you mean people deserve credit? What do you mean by that? Because he's not making any more rash decisions.
He's not making rash decisions. He's actually realized, hold on a minute, I'm a defender. I can't just be a David Luiz prototype. I have to be an Argentinian.
Where you
know what I'm saying?
Where you got him ranked at the minute?
I still don't rank him highly.
See, I wanted the truth to come out. Here we go. Back to normal.
Slow down, buddy. Toby, if you want to slow down, put your drink down. Put your drink down, Toby. I know you're drinking something there. You get me? But I give him this credit. This season he's done well. And he's actually played the Romero, I think, when he came into the football club. But I still think there's tendencies. And that's why I think you're playing Liverpool and Arsenal. Let's see if that Romero is still there. If that Romero's still there, then I've said what I've said. But now, I'll give him his true praise.
This year with Romero is you got to look at the people he's got around him. I think Van der Ven and Vicario, they're new players coming in, but they've looked competent so far. I think Porro, you look at Udogie on the other side, he's got a decent defense around him that he can trust. He's got Basuma in front of him. He knows he's got protection there. Last year, brother, we were lining up with Eric Dyer, Ben Davis, Romero, Emerson, and Lloris, with Skip and Højbjerg in front of that. Lord, you ain't seeing no protection from that. So I knew why he looked how he looked, but I think you're right. He's now looking like the player that we signed. You only hope he can keep it up. And listen, the next 2 weeks, you got the Nunes test coming in 2 weeks, and then obviously North London derby. We know. Was it last one he got sent off? I can't remember, but he had a howler in one of them. I remember. So I'm looking for some redemption this year, performance-wise, for sure.
Allow hyping up Nunes, isn't it? Because I remember your sentences and words about Nunes last season.
So
we're going to talk soon.
The same energy, but let's not act like he's not. He's not a test.
Why are you saying Nunes?
He's a bench player, really? He's a bench player.
Hold on. I cannot rate Nunes highly as you do, and if I recall correctly, you was actually agreeing with me and saying you didn't rate him highly as well. So I don't think you get to change your tune and I don't get to.
That's what he does, Grizz. Though. That's what he does to you, Grizz.
Don't go anywhere.
Nunes is still bench boy,
Don't go anywhere.
Nunes test,
Yeah, what? He's not.
Ain't no test.
Is he not a battering ram?
Nunes test, man.
He won't even start the game.
Do that rating then. I don't get
it. He'll have a 20-minute Nunes test at the end.
Up the front line and now they're saying he's not a test. All right.
Allow the Nunes.
But I don't understand it. Do you rate him now? Do you rate Nunes? Do you rate Nunes now?
Soon, he's here for free shows. Didn't you hear the man, Turkish?
Yeah, he's here for free shows.
Have you noticed? Yeah, when you apply the pressure to GRIZZ, he says, "Yeah, back off now."
We're gonna apply pressure slowly.
GRIZZ is very press resistant. That's what you have to understand.
Yeah, he is. But I think sometimes, there's a little bit of,
Spurs now, big up Spurs every time. They're doing very well. But he's right. FUAD's right. All of this good feel factor. Look, they have done well, but you haven't played great teams. Some of the names that you mentioned there, I didn't even know some of them were such like dead opposition. But now, fair play, you had a lot to come back from in terms of last season, and the morale was down, and then Kane leaves. So there's a whole heap of pick me up needed. And that Maddison, I've been saying it, bro. I've been saying it. That Maddison fee, that Maddison signing, for me, is one of the signings of the season so far. And so far, he's proving to be so. But yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you: Are you concerned about us this weekend? What's your, or is it just you're thinking?
No, man said no, cold, okay. No. He didn't even smile.
Are you, as an Arsenal fan, are you looking at this earlier as just like, yeah, man, we've seen this? Because we've seen Spurs do good starts as well. We've seen the Sky Sports putting them in the Premier League title races with the graphics saying, yo, are Spurs involved in the race this year? So we've obviously, is that how you're kind of just looking at it and just thinking, yeah, it'll be...
The way I look at it is our record against you at the Emirates, even when you had Harry Kane, who was a thorn in our side, was great. We turned it around last year away from home. We got the win as well. Our trajectory is on a different path. So really, if I sit here and say I'm worried about Tottenham, then Arteta hasn't been doing his job. But he has been doing his job. Because even this season, yes, tactically and yes, performance-wise, there's a gap to last season. But, bro, I can't see anything other than 3 points against Tottenham.
Also, their record is bad there, isn't it? Their record is crazy over there.
My thing is, just look at the record, though. If you look at this game in isolation, I think you have to factor in the feel-good factor at Tottenham right now and the fact that if we're being totally real, Arsenal haven't been convincing. Yes, they're getting the points, but they haven't been that convincing Arsenal that we saw at this stage last season. So if Spurs come in that little honeymoon phase that FUAD's talking about, feeling all jolly, and Arsenal don't get the grip on the game they're looking for, I think there's room for banana skin for Arsenal. I mean, I personally see an Arsenal win. I'm with you, but I don't think it's as clear cut maybe as you seem to.
I don't.
Nah, man. Let him be confident. Let him do that because
man. Leave everything on the line, man.
I need Thuggery, paying great attention. You know what I'm saying? Just for that North London derby. Someone's got something cooking.
What's the old saying? You don't concern yourself with the sheep. What was it, Turkish, that saying? You don't concern a lion
themselves with the opinions of sheep.
Yeah, what do you reckon to that, Turkish? Is that a good statement to make, or is it just... What do you reckon?
I think in general that statement works for Arsenal Tottenham.
You know someone's tweeting that in the Big Six Twitter if you lose or drop points this weekend. That quote's coming.
I've actually said quite a lot in the last 5 minutes that I see Matisse smiling because he knows the potential of clippage is high at the moment. But I'm confident. I'm confident.
It's potential skulls. That's the statistic, man.
This ain't honeymoon. This is
XG.
This ain't honeymoon. This is one night stand, cab home after at the end of the night. That's what it is. It's no honeymoon.
Wow.
There's no wedding bells. There's no.
You're saying there's an in and out job.
Turkish trying to be a mood killer, man. Wow. Trying to crash the wedding.
In and
one
out.
night stand, bro.
Wow.
Bro said no names. We don't even know each other's names.
Giving false numbers and whatnot.
Yeah, room 401. Room 401. 5 minutes. Yeah, your Uber's outside. Your Uber's outside. That's how I expect Sunday to go. That's how I expect Sunday to go. But listen, we've got a few super chats in on Tottenham, and we've got roughly half an hour left. I don't want to go over 2 hours today because we went over 2 hours last week or last show. And bear in mind, it's already late here as it is. And I've just got back off a stag do last night as well. So with a delayed flight. So please, people, apologies. Hit the like button. Let's get the Tottenham super chats in. Ibby says, I know all of us gooners smiled like Turkish was when FUAD was hyping up Bentancur. I badly wanted him to finish that sentence. Time for a humbling. Yeah. Because don't get me wrong, he's right about Bentancur. He looked good. He looked good prior to the injury, but I thought that sentence was gonna be like, "Oof, we're cooking," and then I would have been like, "Cooking what?"
A wonderful meal.
George says, "Hope that feel good factor can play up top, other than Richie."
Maybe he's found form at the right time, Richie. Maybe he's got something for you.
I don't know, one game's form, but we'll find that. We'll find that. I doubt he starts the game, to be honest. But we'll see.
But then Martinelli injury does, you know what I mean? I don't know. It does something, surely.
How long was he out for? He missed the game against us.
He's felt something in his hamstring. But the player that came on for him scored the winner. Trossard's quality.
Is a problem for Spurs, though, right? FUAD? Martinelli is always a problem for Spurs.
Yeah,
he's a
pretty much
problem
every
for those
London
teams.
derby.
Yeah.
But I can't lie to you, Trossard as he's done his job since he's come to Arsenal. Like, be that player off the bench, filling gaps, and I think every time he's kind of done his job. So
he's underrated, man. Underrated, that player, man.
Shaf says, low expectations, don't get too hyped. Here in Spurs getting top 4 already. Hype. Arsenal, Liverpool gonna get you back to reality in the next.
Hey, top 6 to aim, lads. We're just looking for improvements and some culture this year, lads. Don't worry about us, man. We're little old Spurs this season, man. Remember, you lot had Villa all finishing above us after Villa had the best window this summer. Hey, don't involve us in any of that. Oh, please. What?
Not me.
What was the old saying? We move in silence.
I think I had Spurs top 4, you know.
I think you're one of the only few ones, I would say.
I had to back Ange, man, after the monologue I gave.
Yeah.
I think I got you top 6.
Yes, really. I can't lie to you. Hugh was early on the Ange board. I remember even when I was kind of skeptical, we were both skeptical early on. I remember listening to him thinking, let me go check some old tapes still.
He said it early.
Yeah. I want to say I told you so, but I'm not allowed. The rule is I'm not allowed to talk about him on the show because I get told I'm glazing. But yeah, I do well, man.
No. You deserve your prop there, bro.
Gareth says, don't be worrying, Turkish, my bro. Annals means and you know what? I had to search this, and it's actually true, but they need to change this word because it's too close to another word. So when we're talking about probing and all of this, I thought, nah, this person's trying it, but it's that he's actually right. It means historical records, nothing dirty. But they've got to change that word. I'm sorry.
Oh, annals.
Annals, isn't that double N-U-L-S? I don't know, man.
That's annuals.
Well, it's still they want to say the word, innit? They still want you to say that word, and then it's how it's perceived, man. So
I miss Toby, man. Toby says, F everything else, man. Just say the word. He don't care, man, about the I don't give shit, man.
Gunter says, speak on those Spurs celebrations after beating newly promoted Sheffield United at home. I remember Arsenal getting ripped apart for way less last year. Well, now you know why Tobes was back in that Silence of the Lambs at United, whatever his name is.
I don't have no problem, man. Listen, you lot celebrate what you want to celebrate. Last year, you lot celebrated. Richie got a goal, man. We just want to give him a bit of confidence. You know what I mean? Guys said he's going through some mental health stuff. Hey, man. Let's create a little bit of a culture, man. European clubs do it after every game. It's a rare sight in English football.
But see, FUAD, this is where I'm not celebration, please. This is where I was backing that celebration from Spurs. This is all about building the environment, the atmosphere, the unity. This is when these men came for Liverpool and West. I said, bro, on the back of that, he went on to win every trophy for me. And if and I know it's a massive if Ange brings a trophy to you after this, you're gonna remember that. You're gonna remember this win.
Yeah, not 100.
I read that one. Actually.
I'm not that win in particular, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I know it's. I can't lie to you. 1-0 league Sheffield, 2-1 Sheffield. Hey, this was the turning moment in our trophy, you know.
When Sheffield United scored, I wrote hammer blow. I was ready to cuss Toby, man. But yeah, life was different.
Why always me says people forget that Perisic did his bits this season. Every time he came in, he's changed the game for Spurs as well.
The subs have been wicked this year, man. I think Andrews has done really well with that this year for sure.
Honesty says, question, how can Ange already have a system, a style of play, but then Ten Hag, who is here longer, doesn't? No one can answer that question. And GRIZZ opinion on the young G Kwanzaa.
Speak soon, innit?
Speak soon. And I believe, actually, there was one more here I wanted to get in. Not on Tottenham, but more on FUAD. Ibi says, best signing of the season is hands down DR landing FUAD, Cams, and Mays. Liez in brackets as well. FUAD, please tell me Robbie's got you on a 8+1 year contract.
Yeah, man, we ain't going nowhere, man. We're there long term, man. Don't worry. Make sure you go follow that. We'll be there every Sunday. Trust me.
Every Sunday, people. And that's it on Tottenham. And you know what? I've got about 8 super chats here on a particular club. I didn't really care about discussing them today, but I don't like the way he's been in the chat, trying to waste time, thinking that he's going to get away with it, thinking that he's done something. He hasn't done a thing. So I think it is time. I think it is time.
I was muted. I didn't mean to waste time. By my calculations, we have 15 minutes left and we have 3 teams to discuss, or is it 4? So how many minutes is that?
Yours is a 0-0.
How many minutes is that per team? Per team, we have what, 4 minutes?
We've got 20 minutes to go. So that's per team 7 minutes.
I don't think that's correct.
Proper jokes.
I think that's correct. I think you need to redo your calculations.
Actually, you know what? I'll give you time to let me get the Chelsea super chats in to kick off the. Let's kick it off with the super chats for this one. Nilot says, Matisse, are you pre-ordering Michael Jackson's remix album Bad this season? Hurry, it's a limited edition. Paul says the last time Chelsea beat a team who were in the top half of the Premier League at the time was Spurs in January 2022, 600 days ago. Gabriel says, stat of the day, Enzo has more years left on his contract than goals, assists, and wins combined for Chelsea in 2023.
Yo, that's a crazy stat. I can't lie.
That is a hell of a stat, man.
Start of the year, man.
Matisse, stop deflecting if your team, which is filled of failed clones of FUAD, didn't play so crap. They would get points like the real FUAD's team. And we've got him again. FUAD, Turkish. In Matisse's stream, a super chat for Matisse suggested which one would Matisse like to win the league between Spurs and Arsenal, and it broke him. Interesting. LJ again, 1 billion spent, and Matisse is deflecting. Instead of his owners weren't trying to gather kids like a Barney the Dinosaur special or Sesame Street. I think no. Wait. We got another one here. Walid says, Matisse, if I was in your spot, I would have called in sick today. Big up to you all. And I think we're ready to go. If I'm not mistaken. No, I'm not mistaken. There you go. Matisse. Super chats in. The panel liked the Enzo one.
Yeah, I didn't even hear. I was meditating. It was disappointing, disappointing result, I must say. I expected to win. I don't regret expecting to win because it's Bournemouth. No disrespect to them. And I think anybody who watched the game, listen, both teams had their chances, but I think we hit the bar from the free kick, post from Jackson. We had a lot of moments where players were running through on goal. Yeah, there were a couple of defenders in between, but centrally, and you have that option to shift the ball to your right or your left foot, whether it's Palmer, Gallagher, Sterling, and they opted to pass. And you need to take responsibility. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this forward line. There's been a lot of questions. Where's the goals? It's been something that's been haunting us for a few years. There's no one individual in there that I'm expecting 20 goals from. But I think everybody's got a chip in. They've got to contribute. And yes, people can get onto the manager. There's a few minor things that I would have preferred he tweaked. Levi Colwell playing left back. Could he have played centre back? Made more line breaking passes like he did at the Emirates last season for Brighton? Yes. Could we have seen potentially Palmer start from the beginning? Yes. But at the end of the day, a team that has, 15, 16 shots should have had about 20, 25. With the way Bournemouth played the game, approached the game, we should have won. So it's disappointing, but it doesn't change anything with the manager. I'm still fully behind him, just as I was at the start of the season, of course. And we have to give him time because we need to stop sacking people. We need to stop signing so many people. We need to have a moment of calmness, stability, develop the players that we have, and try to gradually get ourselves where we should be. But, regardless of injuries and whatnot, there's no excuses. We should be winning that game. But yeah, I think, unfortunately, the Premier League is small margins. And you look at Liverpool first half, they bring on people off the bench. They change the game. You look at us, small margins again. Who can we bring on? Nobody there. So I do sympathise with us in that respect. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a damn shame. We go against Aston Villa.
You need results, man. You need results badly. This is getting beyond the joke now.
I'm not laughing. Are you laughing? No one's laughing. No one finds this
amusing. I'm bored.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame.
It's not a shame, but it is fucking boring. I'll tell you that much, because I don't know how many different ways I can rip Chelsea week in, week out. I'm tired of it, but I enjoy it at the same time. It's crazy. I want more, but I'm also tired. I don't know. Maybe they need to win like 2-3 in a row. Matisse needs to come out of his shell a little bit and start speaking again, and then we need another dip. Maybe that's probably the next.
I'm in a low block at the moment, so I'm fine. I'm set. Break me down, please. Anybody? Did you watch the game?
I was bored. I was expecting some goals, man. Can't lie, but don't know about the action guy, man.
You need to stop doing watch-alongs for us. I told you. We're not here to entertain you, bro. Stop doing watch-alongs for us.
I want 10-minute segment on that Jackson shot, because I've never seen a shot like that in a long
bro.
time.
I don't know what he is, man. Is he a striker? What is he?
I don't care if it was with his knee, bro. That was so
Darwin Núñez. We've seen some Darwin Núñez ones like that.
Yeah, we have.
No, not like that. That one was crazy what Jackson did, bro.
No. We only seen Darwin Núñez like that. We only seen Darwin Núñez.
The way he looked up there.
If you saw the way he looked up from his phone,
we ain't seen Richie La do none of that. We ain't seen them. No,
100% we have.
We only seen Darwin Núñez do that.
I just used an example. Richie did as well.
But I hear that. But listen, but for me, back on track with Matisse and Chelsea, I'm gonna read out some names on their subs bench.
Yeah, you can go ahead. We have 12 injuries, so I'm not expecting the subs bench to look because let me tell you something. If it did have a strong bench with 12
you're not
injuries,
gonna let me read out. So you're not
no. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Talking over me, right? So I don't read out your names.
Because
I'm still gonna read them out.
I know who was on the bench.
I don't.
We're gonna get there.
Hold on. Let me test. I swear to you, Matisse can't name the people on the bench.
Stutter was one of them.
Name your whole bench right now.
Washington was one of them. Palmer was another one. Matson was another one. Right?
Who?
2 goalkeepers. Petrovic and Bergstrom, another one. We had some Mora, I don't even know who he is on there as well. Some other guy.
Name them, brother.
Bro, these are man all from. But hold on, this is the point I'm making. If we have 12 injuries and the bench, yeah, bro, I will. Damn right. if we have 12 injuries and the bench is still strong, that is a bloated squad. So you can't have it both ways. Either Chelsea need to trim their squad and sell players so they don't have a bloated squad, or they need to have 50 players. You could pick. But any team that has 12 injuries on this panel, their bench looks like shit. So, but that's not an excuse. We should still win the game. So I don't really care about the bench. You should beat Bournemouth with your 11. I'm just saying the bench should look like that. That's not a reflection on the 1 billion. 500 of the I'm being honest, is injured. 500 of the spend is injured.
What's the reflection on
500 of the spend is injured?
It is. I'm not joking. Caicedo injured, Madueke injured, Lavia injured, Badiashile injured, Nkuku injured. Honestly, tally it up. It's all injured. What can we do?
But
no one cared when we signed Kim Kallstrom. No one gave a shit about no injuries, bro.
But this is why I said Turkish is not an excuse. We should still win the game.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't care about the bench. The bench is irrelevant to this conversation. But you can read it out.
You got Denzel Washington on the subs bench, and you lot are celebrating this £1 billion. What is worthy? Where do you expect to go now? Because you keep saying, I expect to win 7. What did he say, Saeed, about 7 games?
7 and 7.
21, yeah, so 21 points. 21 points.
I'm going to keep saying we should win the next game for the rest of the season.
Why? You an idiot or something? Why are you going to do that?
They've got 6 wins, man, in 2023. That's how damn it is. 6 wins.
The whole year?
Yeah, 2023.
Does that include pre-season?
No, listen, the pre-season don't count. But yeah, that's what they've got. That's how damning it is, man. Enzo Fernandez has spent more time in the bottom half than he spent in the top half. Bro, I don't know what I watch him, man. I'm just like, you've got players who can't really finish up front. And the midfield, So it's a bit all right. You got Conor Gallagher with the captaincy now. You know, they had to replace the Cobham's finest in Mason Mount, and now they've got, you know, they've got the next one in there. So
where's the Cobham finest? Where's he at? Is he at your club?
No, he's now a reborn, and he's now part of the Old Trafford.
What shirt number does he wear, and how much does he make?
But you're not a captain.
Yeah, we're not gonna deflect. Sure, not gonna deflect. Let's stay on this topic here. Yeah.
No, serious chat. What's the deal with Silva not being captain? Was there like reason?
Bro, I don't know. To be honest, like Gallagher,
his wife talking all that shit on Twitter, they're gonna give him the armbrand again.
Bro, I tell you, his wife is right on time, man.
I thought the same thing before the game, yeah, and then I thought about it, bro. His wife, she after she
too reckless, man.
Behind the scenes stuff, they said, nah.
Yeah,
can't be trusted, you know.
Is that healthy?
He's doing so much chatty patty pillow talking with his wife, bro. Nah.
Is that healthy? Is that healthy state of a club?
That's wild.
Because basically you're forced to give the captaincy to someone you wanted out of the club.
Well, the board wanted. The problem is the board wanted him out because he's seen as pure profit, right? And in my opinion, I can understand selling him for 40, 50 million. I don't think he's a special talent. I think we've had better, like you said, Lewis Hall, etc., that I would have kept, and I would have been like, that's actually a special talent. I don't think you wanted Gallagher at Liverpool for said reason. Hard worker, does his due diligence, cool. He didn't even have a bad game, but the board want him sold for profit. The manager's pretty happy with him and wants to keep him. So, but we'll see. I think he's a ticking time bomb in terms of I think he will be sold anyway at some point. He's just not. I don't think he's going to make it under this ownership. But him getting. But the thing is, right? There was a lack of leadership in the last 8 minutes. You see how Tottenham. I think there was a stat that went up in the Nottingham Forest game. A lot of the goals came after the 85th minute this weekend. A lot of late goals. You look at Tottenham. You know, injury time. Board goes up. Bang, they're on it. 8 minutes goes on the board for Chelsea and it's just deflated. There's no leaders. Chilwell comes on, he's the captain, throws in a pretty poor performance, right? Nobody's really bringing the team together and saying, right, come on, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go. So I don't know. I feel like, yes, we may have overcooked it on the under 25 thing and we would have ideally liked a better blend, but it's too late for that. No one wants to hear that. And you should still be winning games even with a young team as well. I can hear that for certain fixtures, but for Nottingham Forest and especially Bournemouth, I think Bournemouth are one of the best teams to play against for a top team because they really do give you space and they give you opportunities. So for me personally,
the space that you guys were getting between the lines,
the amount of space we were getting, bro, was a field day. So much space.
Too easy.
This is too easy, bro.
Surely one of Mudryk, Sterling, Enzo, and my boy Action Jackson up front. One of us got to do something. Like how much space she was getting because she was breaking the first press very easily. They were getting a lot of space between the lines. Nothing to go on in after that. Nothing. It was dead.
Just poor decision making in the final third. Just poor. Honestly, it's almost like they were trying not to score sometimes. It was just poor decision making.
You man are definitely gonna go buy either Osterman or Ferguson next summer. Definitely.
Would you
Tony in January?
I'm not
go there. Would you think those players?
No, they shouldn't.
They shouldn't stay away from Ferguson.
You know who?
Your hands off Evan Ferguson.
I'm not here to talk about transfers. I'm not here to talk about
go near Evan
You know
Ferguson.
who you should have went for? I blame Matisse, you know. I was talking about playing in the summer. But he was part of this cult, that was there in the summer. No, but you were there. No to Vlahovic.
Bro, go and take a look. Saeed.
No, but now, are you watching him this season? I've been telling people about Vlahovic.
Saeed is getting late. Vlahovic.
But I've been saying, though.
Vlahovic had an injury record last season. I'm going to ask you two things. Based upon Chelsea's recent injury issues over the last 2-3 years, loads of long-term injuries, do you think Vlahovic would have stayed fit? You can't tell me yes. Do you think we should have signed Vlahovic?
You also... But it's only 1 year he's been injured. 1 year he's had a few injuries.
Bro, I don't care.
We're not talking about an injury-prone player. That doesn't mean he's injury-prone, though, does it?
This is Chelsea. If you are not injury-prone, we will make you injury-prone. So if you are struggling with injuries, you will struggle over here. Yeah. And the second thing is, bro, you can't tell me that we should have signed Vlahovic up to an 8-year contract, and that's
gave Reece James the captaincy, and he's injury-prone.
But we didn't pay for him. That's their decision. They've looked at him and they said they want to give him the captaincy. They're going to trust him to get out of that. My thing is not adding more players to the pot that have injury issues. That's my thing. A Chelsea team that has 12 injuries. You can score goals if you're on the pitch. But I could not look at that injury.
I know, but
Saeed, I could not look at that. I'm not being harsh. I'm not being harsh. Madueke also had susceptible little injury record. He was out this weekend. I'm not going to look at what you're doing for Juventus, right, and say, oh, that immediately translates to Chelsea. That's lazy. We said the same thing.
I get that, but he's more of a proven goal scorer than this Jackson guy. He's more of a proven goal scorer than this Jackson guy. I'm sorry, this guy will get you goals, Vlahovic. That Jackson brother, he looks like he needs about 50 chances to score a goal.
Guys, who's more of a mess right now? Who's more of a mess, Chelsea or Man United? I think that's a very valid.
No, Oz obviously. That's obvious, man.
I can't say that.
Nah, come on, man. Nah, listen. Chelsea have got a new structure. Chelsea have just got a new manager. They need to bet. Pochettino needs time. It's not big of a mess than United. It's not. As much as I want to back them, they're not.
Do you know what's so interesting, right? Chelsea rejected going for
maybe put a poll out
and paying 30 million plus Lukaku. PSG needed a striker. They signed 2. Muani and Ramos didn't go for Vlahovic. Man United needed a striker. Didn't go for Vlahovic. Arsenal were looking at him before. Didn't go back in for him. So if all of this, Matisse, Vlahovic, then why did everybody avoid him? He was available all summer. Nobody went in for him. Everybody now is panicking and saying, oh, we need goals, so we should have signed him. I'm not thinking about the first few games. I'm not thinking about 5 games in. I'm thinking about the next 8 years because that's how long he would have been signed on for. And in my opinion, I'm not.
For Jackson.
Jackson was a low cost. He was a risk. I don't even know this guy. I didn't know him. We signed him. We scouted him.
But Vlahovic was low cost. He was looking about 40 million.
Bro, plus Lukaku. Total cost,
yeah, but you don't want Lukaku though. Yeah, so you don't care about what you make from Lukaku.
No, that's not how negotiations work. They were willing to pay 40. Listen to me.
Come on, now you're talking about price.
You didn't follow the negotiation. They were willing to pay. Them and Inter Milan were willing to pay 40 million for Lukaku, 40 million euros, right? And they were willing to pay that if Vlahovic left to join PSG. Then they would pay that. Next thing you know, they're saying that we need to pay 30 million for Vlahovic and Lukaku. You're not doing that negotiation, bro. This is finance. Bearing in mind, Chelsea have just spent a whole heap of money and they're being a bit penny pinching with what they're trying to do and allocate their funds. What wages is Vlahovic on as well? I know it's easy for you to say, why didn't you sign Vlahovic?
I don't buy it.
Why didn't you sign Vlahovic? Hold on. You was criticizing Højlund's goal scoring record. Why didn't you go to Syria?
I wanted Vlahovic. Everybody knows that. No, but obviously we're looking at a manager who has a specific ID. But we're looking at your club. You don't have no specific ID. You don't really have specific targets. It's whatever the football club is going at. My manager wanted Højlund. He didn't want Vlahovic. That's specific ID. Whereas your football club was sporadic. Your football was sporadic. You didn't really know where you were going.
Are you not sorry, hold on a second. Your transfer business is not sporadic.
No, it's not. The manager knows what he's doing. The manager
does he now? Does he?
Certain players in there. Yours is sporadic.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. You've gone from the whole summer saying, I don't like this transfer. I don't like Mason Mount. I don't like this. I don't want Højlund.
That's different. I don't want Højlund. What the manager wants, though.
Anthony. I don't want this. I don't want that. And now suddenly you're.
Yeah, but I get that. But you don't know what the manager wants, and you don't know what Todd Bowley's doing. The difference with me is, the manager is in control of what he's doing. Yeah, your manager is like, you know what? Whoever that manager or whoever the owner gets, if it's this player, if it's that player. My one is specific to what the manager wants, whereas you could have got
so let me ask you something.
Nobody knew you were getting. Why
did your manager not want Vlahovic? Why did all these clubs not want him? It's so easy to say, he's.
But that was manager specific. He's
scoring goals. That
was manager specific.
So Chelsea have had all of these big number 9s. Let's take.
Do you reckon your manager wanted Nicholas Jackson? Do you reckon your manager wanted Nicholas Jackson?
Let's take someone. Bro,
no, but did he want Nicholas Jackson?
It's a collective, bro. They're scouted for the club.
Come on, man. We don't have BS. We never wanted Nicholas Jackson.
It's literally what you've been asking for at Manchester United. We have a board of recruitment. We've got 2 people in charge of recruitment. You're being led by a manager. Our manager doesn't make our transfer decisions. You've spent an hour and 15 minutes complaining and crying that Ten Hag's making transfer decisions. Now you're saying that we should be going with whatever Poch decides. Bro, we have a collective recruitment team. And
I get that.
And hold on a second. You can't judge our recruitment until it's been given a season. Look how much time you've given to Anthony, all these players. But my team, 5 games in, suddenly, oh, why didn't we get this player? 5 games in, are you taking the piss? Bro, all of these players, all these players from Serie A were saying, oh, we should just bring him in. Where did Lukaku just come from, bro? How do you know that it's going to work, bro? You don't know.
No, Lukaku flopped at United. Lukaku flopped at United. So that for me, the sample size is not fair anyway. Vlahovic is a proven goal scorer. You've seen it at Fiorentina. You've seen it at Juventus. And you're looking at 1 year. He got a little bit injury. And that is...
Lukaku's a
no, but I understand that.
He's one of the best goal scorers in the world.
But the thing is, though, the sample size of him flopping in the Premier League, you've seen it, what he's about. So you can understand this. You know what? You can see, you know what, Lukaku in the time. Vlahovic at Fiorentina was scoring goals. At Juventus, scoring goals. But you led your fan base, and Todd Bowley's in your spaces, you know. Todd Bowley's in your spaces. Todd Bowley's listening to the fan base what they want.
Stop this foolishness. Pochettino in pre-season was heavy on this team must press. I have
Where is everyone gone, by the way?
Man, don't worry about them, man. This is our show now. Fuck them, man. No, don't come back, man. Go away. All you man, leave, man. Leave. Leave.
All right, listen, man. We shouldn't be complaining. We're supposed to be sticking together, man, Matisse. What are we doing, man?
Bro, do you know what it is, yeah? Do you know what it is? Everybody wants instant impact right now, and I get it, right? But if Chelsea have decided behind the scenes that they prefer an Ivan Toney or they prefer another option, I can't get angry at them for that. Just because right now my team is lacking a finishing touch. We had Lukaku; he could finish too. Why don't we use him? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as that.
Let's do the super chats. I just thought you two needed the floor for a little bit, so I gave you the floor. And
you know what? We're both frustrated with our clubs, so I just had to just, you know what I mean?
You pashed it
out. Shambles.
And I wanted Vlahovic as well. So it's coming from more like, oh man, that was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it is what it is.
You're looking out for your brother. I know what you're saying, Saeed, but it's cool.
That's it, man.
My brothers were in the mud for like 5 minutes there. Just
someone said mud wrestling.
It's crazy.
Big up Fred. He says, I have to agree with Todd DiCaprio Bowley. Until we play 4-4-3, there is no way we can win the World Series. We must suffer more than you can believe. Twinny says Caicedo has that Fred Ecuadorian gene. He's a fake South American baller. I tried to tell you about Nicky Jack Schwai as well. Just a PMP Havertz. Big up the boys, says Ali. Chelsea season highlight's going to be called Troy 2. Set in his Stamford Bridge and Brad Pitt lookalike Mudryk starring as Achilles. Thanks for taking that grenade from us, little gremlin. Matisse, you're the only one who wanted Pooch, so it's on you. If he doesn't succeed, imagine we didn't want to go for Maddison because he was too old. Crazy. Todd, see you next Tuesday. Oba says, Matisse, keep faith, brother. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, do believe we shall overcome someday.
What's going on?
Your fan base has lost the fucking plot.
Do you know what? Yeah, it's mad.
They turned into preachers.
Listen, people, it was meant to be 7-7-7. It's turned into 21 minutes for Chelsea alone. And Matisse, I'm gonna park off Arsenal, Everton to the side. Arsenal, Tottenham's gonna be a heavily debated conversation on Thursday's show. So we'll bring in the Everton result and Arsenal more so on that one. Hugh, I think going down 1-0 to West Ham and fighting back and getting the win, that was big. But again, Wolves went 1-0 up against Liverpool, so fighting back against them was big. But West Ham was a tougher one. So a few words from Hugh and then a few words from GRIZZ, and then it's the prediction league table, and we wrap it up. Whilst we're wrapping it up, people, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, show FUAD some love, and the rest of the big six brothers, all channel links in the description below. Hugh, 3-1.
Yeah, man. Tough game. I knew it would be a tough game because West Ham are riding high. They're full of confidence after the start of the season. They've had, we had 4 big injuries. Seeing as injuries is a big topic on the show tonight. No Stones, Grealish, De Bruyne, and Kovacic. But the second half display, man. I suppose the people that I want to highlight mainly are Doku, Jeremy Doku, man. I knew him coming in was going to give us a different dynamic. But even Pep said it. He didn't expect Doku to be this good and this effective this soon. He's going to cause problems. Doku's going to cause real problems. The balance of options we now have on the wings, it's quite remarkable when you look at the types of players that we have. Grealish does his thing. Foden does his thing. Bernardo does his thing. And the last type of option that we didn't have, we've now got in an electric, fast-paced, hungry to take on a full-back winger. So You know, I'm part of the GDL, man. I'm part of the Grealish Defense League. But if I'm Grealish, I'm looking at Doc at the weekend saying, boy, it's going to be difficult to compete with this guy. He gets gold.
Good thing Tobes is not here right
honest
now.
Man there. That's an honest man. I respect it.
I'm a man of integrity, man. I believe both of them have things they can improve on, but you know what I mean? Efficiency will speak for itself. And if Doku can continue with efficiency and goals, it's going to be hard for Grealish to get in. But I'd like to see a front three where they're both there, because Doku can also play on the right. So I'd like to see how that looks and how that would shape up. But Alvarez as well, I want to highlight him. At the beginning of the season, I wasn't too satisfied with the idea of him playing this deeper role or second striker behind Haaland type thing. But he's cooking as well. He's on 2 goals and 3 assists in the opening 5 games. I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record because I can't tell you how many times I can't tell you every week that I'm just really happy. I am. We're 5 from 5, and the team's playing really well. Even with injuries, we're playing really well. Champions League tomorrow night. I'm going. Can't wait. Under the bright lights. Back to back maybe this season. Who knows? I'm confident about that. I feel great, man. I feel really great as a City fan. You know what I mean? I love going to the games. I love watching the lads. The football's magnificent. All you lot complaining, I've got nothing to say. I'm living a good life. I can't lie. I'm blessed.
Hey, man's eating caviar, drinking champagne. Like, look at these peasants,
bro. Man, you're not wrong. I like that little segment of Matisse and Saeed going head to head. These once prestigious institutions rolling around in the mud. Apparently, the comments are saying to get mud wrestling and that. I don't know anything about mud wrestling. I stay away from the mud, man. I've got that prestigious Etihad grass that apparently we've been charged for being too long. But you know, that's
Steve knows about the mud, man. Oldham Athletic. The pitches,
no. Listen,
pitches away. They know about the mud. You need to go back and remember the old days, man.
Remember your roots, man.
Remember your DVDs in League 1 games or something, man. If you want to find something in your heart to complain about, go and watch the old City games or something. Go and watch the Riverside 8-1 or Fonzo Alves.
Main road, man. I remember them days, man.
You need to learn about me. You need to learn about me and my story. I'm a balanced football fan, right? I have a local club here in Dublin I follow, I'm a member of, and we are shit. So when I go to watch them on a Friday, they get slapped up. Then I fly to the Etihad on a Saturday, we slap someone up. I'm seeing the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? I've got it all. But look, as far as City goes, man, we're gonna win the lot. It's all great.
Oh, quadruple.
So boring, honestly, that team. Just
he's a quadruple, you know.
But you're just gonna have to deal with it. You're just gonna have
if
to
they
deal
do
with
a quadruple and a 4-peat, the show's done.
Yeah, facts. If they do a quadruple, I think it's over.
Do you think you lot could do an Invincibles?
Yeah,
I'd love it. I'd love it.
Easy, FUAD. Easy.
Yo, Hugh. If you're gonna do something, do that, please.
Quadruple's easier than an Invincible.
Nah, do that.
Even if we did an Invincible season,
gold trophy, man. Let them have it, man. Let them have it. That gold trophy.
More impressive. 100 points is more impressive than Invincibles. I mean, nothing's out of the question right now. The best manager in the world, and seeing as another word of tonight's show is structure. We have the best structure in the world. We have the best squad in the world. What's for
you know what? That's mad. You know,
best manager.
When you actually deep it, yeah. Will Man City become a bigger club than Arsenal if they went unbeaten?
You're asking the wrong fucking question, mate. Will they become a bigger club than you in the next
No.
Hey, worry about
we got 20 Premier League. If they come unbeaten, are Man City a bigger club? Are Man City a bigger club than Arsenal? That's a big question, though. We got 20 Premier League titles, mate.
I'm not arsed. I'm making it clear. I'm not arsed about who's the bigger club.
No, but let me ask you the question, though.
What I will say is we're bigger than Chelsea now. We're bigger than Chelsea. We've already done that.
And I forget Chelsea, man, because we're that irrelevant, Huey. Let's stick to the topic. If you go unbeaten, are you a bigger club than Arsenal?
Well, that's for you to debate. That's for you to debate, man. I don't give a shit.
I'm just saying, what's stopping it? And you know what, Turkish? I know it's going to hurt, but that gold trophy is what's keeping you a bit relevant. Let's be real, because you always say
we got more
gold
more trophies than them. We got four more titles than them. It's not just Invincibles that makes us bigger.
Have they got more?
Have you got a European Cup?
They got more Premier League trophies. Yeah, European Cup. But I'll refer back to what Cam said last week. That shut Matisse up. 2 European Cups, but everyone focuses on Arsenal more than Chelsea.
Yeah, because people like misery. Because Arsenal were shit for so long. People focus on Arsenal because people like misery. They like to hate. They like to see your downfall.
I'll tell you, but Hugh, Man City was shit a lot longer than Arsenal have been shit before the fucking sheikhs come in. Let's get that one straight. So if it's all about being shit, you lot will be the biggest club in the big six.
No, but there's a difference between flying high. There's a difference between flying high and then going shit.
And how long is this taking, man? It's this rivalry, man.
Was that really necessary?
I'm gonna be consistent. I'm gonna be consistent with my thoughts.
Huey, don't let him have this, man. Don't let him have it. Say what you really think, man. No, Huey, man. Come on, man. You can't be friends.
Hugh is so disappointed. Hugh is so disappointed that you've dragged him down to this citizen mud bath battle. He was just sitting on top of his. He was sitting on top of his ivory tower. He's sitting on top of his ivory tower, looking at one of the delinquents, talking about which one is the challenger? Which one is the challenger?
Me coming on and saying we're class every week.
Saeed's like, yo, get down here.
Are you bigger than me? Are you bigger than them? I don't give a shit. I really don't. I'm happy to be Little City. I'm happy to let that lot be bigger than us, but we're getting all the trouble. I don't give a crap. I really don't.
But you gotta believe it sometimes, man. I feel like for me, City, if they they got to step on toes, man. Got to let the other guys know. Arsenal, you're irrelevant now. Chelsea, you're irrelevant.
As you said to me, as you said to me last week, don't let them get you into this relevant hype shit, right? The only reason why Saeed is doing this because his team has been irrelevant for the last 10 years. That's why he's doing this, right? In good time, brother. You're young. You'll see.
Listen, you're approaching that time.
You will see your City turn. Yeah, but brother, I don't do this with Turkish. I talk about Champions League a couple years ago.
Well, he knows.
You will see your City turn blue in your lifetime, literally on trophies.
Why won't you tell him? Why won't you tell him?
On trophies.
Why won't you tell him? Why won't you tell him? Is it because you know?
I don't need to do this. You were doing the relevancy thing with Arsenal get the most interaction on Twitter when they lose, or they get the most retweets. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It's not my business. You guys, I don't give a shit. That's cool. Be relevant. I'm loving that for you. You know what I'm saying? Be relevant.
I've already seen Manchester turn blue, man. The difference between me and him is I'm flying into Manchester tomorrow. He's flying out.
Hey.
Well, I'm a local fan.
See you later, Saeed. Have a good flight, yeah? Have a good flight,
I don't
mate.
need to fly anywhere.
I'll wave at you. I'll wave at you from the terminal.
I mean, I'm just there. You know what I'm saying? Want to go down there? I mean, go down there, yeah.
You're sounding like GRIZZ when he goes when he was losing games. He was like, oh, blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah.
Now listen, man. I just want to see. No, it is, yeah. I just want to see a bit of rivalry between Man City and Arsenal. That's all I want to see. I think it's a bit too soft right now.
It's only been a
but
year.
I don't know, man.
Let us do it again.
Okay.
It's only been a year. If fucking look at your rivalry with them. If ours is soft, what's you man's?
Yeah, you wanted them to win the league when they were coming up against Liverpool, weren't they? But that was meant to be the biggest derby in the country.
Not really.
Alright, cool.
Not really.
Super chats. Let me see if there's any on Man City because I did see one on Doku, I believe. 40 says United treble, City treble, or Barcelona treble. Which team was the best? Barcelona for me. Anyone disagree?
United. The way we won it, man. Come on, man. No boot feeling.
City, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, the City fan says City, the United fan says United, the other four says Barcelona. So that's what we're going with. No more on. There was one on Doku. I'm sure of it. Vindaloo says there's no point a City guy on the panel. They keep winning, no drama, nothing to discuss apart from taking the piss out of everyone else.
I think
that was that came in at the beginning.
They allow us to finish the fight
bigger, as if I give a shit. Like I don't care who's bigger. Like that's all they can bring me down to.
They're the only reason we finish the show on time, and we still don't. So thanks for Man City.
GRIZZ, do you have much to say on Liverpool? Should we save it for Thursday?
Up to you, man. You're talking about relevancy, you're talking about big, you're talking about prestige, you're talking about history, you're talking about everything. Liverpool FC is right here, bro. What do you want to know?
Bro said, talk. I want to talk. Let me talk.
We want to know everything. All of that. We here.
What's your next game?
Sorry?
What's your next game?
You do the hate alongs. You should know.
I'm asking. That's why I'm going to do it.
He's getting the thumbnail ready.
Yeah, I'm getting the thumbnail
I've been
ready.
hearing you've been doing every Halo waiting for us. You've been waiting a long time, brother. 16 games unbeaten now.
I'm
bro.
telling you, it's mad.
I know.
Yo, Saeed, you're the same. We
I get messages.
I didn't do Liverpool this weekend. I respect Liverpool. You see that, Grizz? I didn't do Liverpool this weekend because I knew you're going to win. I give you respect.
These two brothers, they've been doing Halos every Liverpool game, waiting. And every time
They call each other.
Yeah, no, they call each other. And
we converse.
I'm not getting no messages and calls because my team keeps. I think that's 4 wins in a row now. Obviously, the draw opening very disappointing.
Oh gosh,
very, very disappointing draw at lowly Chelsea on the opening day. Like proper disappointing. I'm mad about that result now. Dead Washed Up Club and we drew there. I can't believe
we should have won. We were the better team.
I feel sick that we drew with a nasty, toxic, crap club like that. 4 wins in a row. Look, I said to you guys without saying we're going to win the league that we're going to be the closest competitors. And I still believe that. I'm going to maintain that. We're going to be the closest competitors, Chelsea. Man City. Man City are still, I believe, a level above everyone else, including us. But I still believe, and I've Pep Guardiola and Man City fans also think that Liverpool are going to be the closest. Everyone's basing it off last season. We're different animal, man. We just got legs now. Everyone saw us last season get beat up, bullied at every away ground, including Wolves. Wolves was nasty. They tore us apart last season. They tore us apart in the first. They didn't tear us apart. They had a couple of good moments. Neto was on fire.
That Bellegarde you as well.
Yeah, he was hungry. Yeah, he was hungry. He was hungry.
Yeah.
He ate ankles and legs in that first 20 minutes, bro. But there was no meat left for him, so he calmed down in the second half. Thankfully, we overpowered him. And I need to speak on the Hungarian Steven Gerrard. You lot keep laughing. You lot keep.
Grizz, I'm here for it. Please.
You keep memeing it and gifting it and like all that business, bro. This guy is a monster. He's proving to me every week new talents, new skills, new attributes, new strengths. I didn't know this much about him. People were talking about he's an attacking outlet. He can play in the hole. He can play as an 8. He can play a right winger. My brother's been dictating games. We went down to 10 men against Newcastle away. He went as the DM alongside Harvey Elliott. He said, "Relax, young Harvey. I'm here. We're gonna roll together." Against Wolves, we took off McAllister at a bit of a stinker. We said, "Yo, turn to Superman again," because he's super dumb right now. I'm telling you guys now. Everyone's talking about their own signings of the season, and I've respected Basuma, and I've said Maddison. I already said Rodri is clearest best midfielder in the world. There's not even like 2 levels. He's 2 levels above everyone else. I don't give a shit. But this guy, this young 22-year-old, is growing. And he's 22, you know. He's played every single position in midfield, and he's been elite in every single position. So life right now is good. We've got some awkward fixtures coming up, including Spurs. And including there's another tricky one coming up as well. But let's do it, man. Let's do this. We got Europa League this week, you know, little training session out there in Las.
You got Brighton in a couple of weeks.
That's it. Brighton and Spurs coming up. But so far so good. I'm exactly where I want to be. I didn't expect it to get 13 points out of 15 with our fixtures and injury list. If you want me to reel off real big dogs, Thiago, Van Dijk, Konate, Trent, all missing from our lineup.
3 players.
Big dogs.
Yeah, 3 players.
4 I just mentioned.
Thiago is not a dog. He's injured all the time.
He's a big dog. You die for a player like Thiago right now. But the game's a game. Look, at the end of the day,
I'm alive, brother.
We're doing well. We're doing well. I can't lie. We're doing well. And long may it continue. So I can
Salah.
Look.
Salah.
Yeah, Salah, man. You know, Salah debate, Salah chat, Salah what? Salah's king, man. Forget Salah, man. Don't waste it. Salah is the king, man. There's no doubt about it. Every season, people ask him to do something different. Do you remember Matisse was asking him to be that creator, that chance creator, that assister?
He gonna deliver. He said Hazard role. He said Hazard role. He said.
No,
he said Hazard.
Liverpool were losing games. He needed to.
No, he said Matisse, take a seat. So he's telling everyone to take a seat right now. And brother's evolving his game. He's playing right wing, inverted, inverted.
He's doing everything.
That pass, he's pretty much, what's the word? Trademarking that pass outside of left foot. And his weight of pass and his general play, man. He's playing like the king he is, man. And I don't know if you've not seen the stats this week. Every week he breaks a new record. And this week, I can't even remember. I'm not even a stats man. But someone in the chat let us know that the record he broke this week.
Different, man.
I think it's like 200 goals. I think it's 200 goals and assists in 283 games or something like that. Like deep those numbers for a second and then end the show.
Do you think he'll break the assist record?
Say again?
Do you think he'll break the assist record?
I told you he's going to be the assist record. Remember we done that preview show at the start, and I said, he's going to be the
Premier League.
No,
but like this for in a season, for I think it's 20.
200 goals and assists.
Szoboszlai ain't breaking no fucking 20.
No, Salah, not Szoboszlai, Salah.
Salah ain't breaking no 20 either.
Well, he's on
4.
Already in 5 games.
Shit. All right, Turkish.
Bro, Ozil was on 15 in December. De Bruyne was on like 16 in February.
Bro, it ain't easy, man.
It ain't easy.
You're relying on other man finishing their dinner.
Let's not underestimate Salah, man. King Salah's GRIZZ, man. Let's not underestimate him, man.
If he was to do it, it would be an incredible achievement because De Bruyne in his prime could only match Henry. I believe he only matched Henry's 20.
Yeah, but he had one robbed off him. De Bruyne broke it, but he had one robbed off him.
Are we looking at 20 assists then, basically? That's our target, yeah?
20 assists.
20 matches it, but 21 breaks it. So you're saying
21 breaks it.
What did he get last year? Didn't he get a good number?
I'm not saying he's going to break it. I'm not going. But you got to remember, not only does he do them kind of assists, he does them kind of goals numbers as well. So this is where he's a freak. You understand? Yeah. This is why only Thierry Henry can speak to him. And I keep saying it again and again and again. By the end of his career, only Henry will be able to speak to him in terms of the greatest Premier League player. Only Henry and no one else.
All right, mate.
Just quickly, though, I think that's the 3rd comeback win now. Do you think that can keep happening, or that trend has to stop? Like, is that a sustainable thing to keep coming back?
It can't keep happening, but I believe it won't keep happening. As I said, we haven't had a settled team and a squad with injuries and suspensions. Don't forget, 2 out of those 5 games, we've come back with 10 men. 10 men.
The Newcastle was
where you know, like everyone's talking about Liverpool 2.0 and Klopp 2.0, whatever, squad rotation, players, injuries. I wanted to see a different mentality. Remember how many times I cussed in mentality last season? You guys were here. I was cussing in mentality. Mentality Monsters 2.0.
Back.
Mentality Monsters 2.0.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Listen,
I like this, man. I like GRIZZ is back. I feel like the energy's back. May it continue, man.
No, you don't want to say that. You don't want to mean that.
You don't want to mean that. We need Saeed back. That's
what I want this energy. That's what I'm saying. I want this energy from GRIZZ.
You don't want long may it continue. You don't really mean that. Long may it continue. It's hell for you if it's long may it continue, brother. Hell. I'm on your neck.
But you reckon you're going to be out there, though? You reckon you're going to be out there more with your team? Are you going to feel the energy with your team? Like,
you know,
you reckon this? Or are you going to be a bit more reserved? Or you just?
You know, I'm frontline. You already know this. Come on, don't do these ones.
To be fair, he did say he put them second before the window closed. Can't really get any more out.
You know what? You got to give him his credit as well. GRIZZ was there, and he backed his team.
5 games in.
So you know what? I'll give it to you, GRIZZ, man.
I get it. 5 games in, nothing.
Too early for bubble baths on Instagram and all this.
100%.
No. He should do it more. I seen the scrum that he had as well. He was eating good, man.
Not a scrum,
bro. He was scranning nicely. Where did he go? That place? What was that place?
Bro, alhamdulillah. Shout out Farmhouse in Coventry. Alhamdulillah.
Bro, man.
Even when we were in the mud, the scrum was there. You already know. But the jacuzzi was the skin routine. So I'm not celebrating Liverpool. I'm just celebrating life now. Alhamdulillah, man. I'm celebrating life.
Life.
Yeah, come on. Super. I've got 12 here, but apologies, people. I'm not going to be able to get them in because we're so far over time that all I've got time for is the prediction table. Love for everyone that's sent in a super chat. Apologies if it hasn't been read, but the show takes priority, and obviously we've already gone over. So let's do the prediction table before we wrap it up. Like I said, Arsenal are transferred over to Thursday, and the prediction table is looking like this after game week 5.
Ooh. Turkish, man. You're there, man. You're there.
I thought I got one result
I
right.
lie.
I got the Chelsea Bournemouth right.
Oh yeah, you got the draw. Yeah, you got the draw. Not 0-0. You done 1-1.
Okay, yeah.
So for people listening on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all of the audio platforms, I got two more correct scores this weekend. So I still lead 6 correct scores, 29 points. Tobes is second, 2 correct scores, 23 points. GRIZZ in third, 1 correct score, 22 points. Saeed's in fourth. He's got a correct score. He's on 20 points. HUGH in fifth. No correct scores, 19 points. And Matisse, he's got 1 correct score this weekend, leaving him on 17 points, but still bottom of the table.
Yeah, man. Matisse did a good week, though. Had a good week, Matisse.
Was Matisse or his club?
Matisse.
No, I'm talking about this as in this predictions.
Invest your stocks. The price is going to go up.
What, in Mudrik?
Yeah.
Huh? Well, for everything, transfers and on the predictions as well, everything. Yeah, price has gone up.
Price is going up. Say no more.
Price going up, man.
Say no more. Listen, FUAD, love for coming in, my bro. Thursday, Monday, we go again. Hopefully, you can do both, but we'll talk.
Hey, Monday, my signal. I got some engineers coming in, but
yeah,
they'll let you know after Sunday 4 p.m.
Oh shit!
Don't worry, man.
We'll be there.
Engineer, man. I'll send them around. They'll fix it all up for you.
Engineer, hi.
You better find yourself at the local library, bro.
McDonald's in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I put a poll up earlier. Who is the bigger mess? And the results are in. There was 2,100 votes. Manchester United got 57% of the votes. Chelsea got 42%. Oh,
what a trophy that is for Chelsea.
my second win of the season.
People, still hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button already. Big up FUAD for stepping in. He's going to be on the next couple shows. Tobes is on a cruise at the moment. Hopefully he's enjoying himself. Big up HUGH, Saeed, GRIZZ, Matisse, Skull, THUGGERY. You know what it is already. Go into the description below. Follow up the channel. Subscribe. And big up FUAD and DR Sports, bringing the football cultural movement every Sunday. So make sure you look out for that as well. That isn't on FUAD's channel. That's on DR Sports. But we're at, people. We're back Thursday, 9 p.m., I believe. That'll be after the Champions League games and the Europa League games, where Man United face Bayern.
Liverpool playing Thursday, my brother.
You're playing at 5. You're playing at 5. That's why it's at 9. When you lot play at 8, we move it to 10:30. If you play at 5, we keep it at 9.
I might have Wi-Fi problems as well, brother. Thursday, we're losing in Europa and shit.
Well, we just hope Saeed's here after Bayern Munich. Let's just hope that he makes.
Enjoy Palmer, brother. Enjoy Palmer.
We'll see.
I still don't know what the fuck Palmer is, but enjoy Palmer still.
It's in Mallorca.
There you go. Enjoy, people. Enjoy. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Love for the love. We're back Thursday. Peace.